Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. We'll get you talking. Talk Radio.
Hello, dear listener. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Ash. It's Iain Lee. It's Talk Radio. It's a show kind of, well, about nothing. Oh, we've got Felix Cavaliere from the Rascals, the Young Rascals, coming on at a later point of the evening. I spoke to him a couple of days ago. He's brilliant. Absolutely fascinating bloke. And whatever you fancy, really. How's your day been? 0844 499 1000. We call you back. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
All the world over, so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free. Listen, please, listen, that's the way it should be. Peace in the valley, people got to be free. You should see. There's a man who is down and needs a helping hand. All it takes is you to understand and to pull him through. It seems to me we got to solve it individually. It ought to you what you do to me. Said no. Yeah, shouting from the mountains all out to the sea. Nothing well about it, people have to be. They got to be. Ask me my opinion will be. That's a situation for a man to be free. Get right on board now. It's about to arrive any minute now. You know, it's been a long overdue.
Yep.
Look out, cause it's
I like it when pop groups grow up. That's the Young Rascals, right? Good Lovin' and Groovin'. They did Groovin', wasn't it? Groovin' was the hit. Groovin' was the hit, right? Whoa! I can do. Hang on a second. There we go. No dodgy Wi-Fi, because I just cut you off. There we go, you miserable gits. It was a bonus, and you have been denied the pleasure of the bonus because of your potty mouths. And when I think you have learnt your lesson, then I will let you have the Periscope feed back, and not until then. Okay, you've been told. My favourite period I have 3 favourite periods in bands' careers. What's your favourite period in a band's career? 0844 499 1000. We call you back. 3 favourite periods in bands' careers. First one. Forget the early stuff. They're getting together and rehearsing and, you know, meeting and they swap the drummer. Forget all that. Not interested in any of that stuff. Boring. Boring. Right? We need some music. If we're going to be talking bands, then we need some appropriate band music. Bear with me. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Let's get some appropriate Band music. Here we go. Love Really Hurts Without You from the Billy Ocean Band. So, 3 favourite periods in bands, okay, careers. First favourite period, number 1, and this is in chronological order, okay, and I've just forgotten one of them. Why did I say 3? Oh, yeah. Well, number 1 is when they're a pop band, but they decide they want to grow up and do more adult music. They grow up. We played the Young Rascals there, who were brilliant, right? I'm a big fan, right? We've got Felix coming on later on. And they had a period where they dropped the Young and became the Rascals. They were the Rascals first, and they became the Young Rascals. Then they dropped the Young and became the Rascals. And that song you heard there is from an amazing album called Freedom Suite. It is a double album, right? Bearing in mind they were a pop group and kind of a soul group. One side of the double album is a drum solo. One whole side, and I won't play it for you because it's about 18 minutes long. One whole side out of 4 sides. So the first 2 sides, beautiful, kind of that horn-driven, the funky sound with black girl singers, and it's wah. Side 3, it's some jams. Side 4 is a drum solo. Beautiful, beautiful. We'll play some of that later. When I speak to Felix, you'll hear me call that album, Freedom Suite, a flawed masterpiece. The flaw is the 18-minute drum solo. Yeah. Oh, boy. I mean, it really is. So that's my first favourite period. Second favourite period, and not all bands go through this anymore, and I would like to see bands reintroduce this into the timeline. I've got 4 favourite periods I've just remembered. Second one is when they make a movie. We're big enough, guys. We've conquered music. We've conquered America if we're British, or Europe if we're American. Our shows are amazing. Let's conquer the movies. And hardly any of them ever conquer the movie. Do you know which band I wish had made a movie? And I'm not even a big fan of theirs. But imagine if around 1978, Queen had made a movie. Oh, that would be good. That would be good, wouldn't it? 0844 499 1000. Always happy to talk band movies. Band as in rock groups and also films that were banned. Third favourite period in the band is like the 3 years after they've split up, the wilderness years, when there's disappointing solo releases, and the ones you think are going to succeed don't succeed, and the one that you thought you didn't even take any notice of, the Ringo of the group, the Hodgson, he goes off and has quite a few hits. You know which Beatle had the most hits straight after the Beatles splitting up? It was Ringo. He had hit after hit after hit, while McCartney was scrabbling around in sheep droppings up in Scotland. Harrison was, wanging on his sitar, and John Lennon was being boring. Ringo was having hit after hit after hit. Yes, one of them was You're Beautiful. What is it? You're beautiful. You're 16 and you're mine. Okay. We can also talk pedo rock. I did. There are a number of songs that you kind of, and this is in the 70s and the 80s, and you kind of think that was never right. Can I play you? Indulge me, Alan. I will come to you in a minute. Indulge me, right? So my love for the baby you'll. My love for the Monkees knows no bounds, right? Knows no bounds whatsoever, right? Let me play you this Davy Jones song from 1982. He was singing this as late as in his 50s. Hang on a minute. Let me find a better version of the internet. Hang on a minute. The internet is not doing as I'd like it to do. Hang on a second. My love for the Monkees, okay, knows no bounds whatsoever, right? I'm obsessed with them. I love them. Everything they did, right? Everything they did. But Davy Jones, here you're going to hear him singing this in his 30s. He was singing this in his late 50s, right? Have a listen to this. Listen to the lyrics. And the internet's booting up. It's being very slow. This is live in Japan, okay? Peado Rock Special. Here we go. Here we go.
Can I be your steady guide?
He's in his 30s. He was singing this in his 50s.
Can I take you out on Saturday nights?
Why not? Beautiful. It's lovely.
Please say yes. Don't put up a fight.
Bit rapey.
'Cause I fixed it alright for Saturday nights.
Romantic so far, and it's nice.
You know I have a car.
Cheeky.
On Saturday nights, I'm a big star.
Okay, everything sounds fine.
My friends say watch out.
Why?
Because of how young you are. But I've been watching you for some time. Think that we're gonna go far. Baby, you'll soon be 16.
Yeah, baby, you'll soon be 16. She's not even 16. She's not even 16 years old. And his friends are telling him, they're saying, Davey, for crying out loud, watch out, man. She's so young. And he's like, yeah, I know, but... Whoa. It continues.
You know what I mean when I say I love you, I love you.
That's a classic grooming technique. A classic grooming technique, telling a young child that you love them. Yeah, I love you, I love you. Parents don't love you, I love you. It continues.
Baby, now when you are 16, you're gonna be with me my whole life through.
Baby, now when you are 16, you're going to be with me your whole life through. Wow. Thing is, he'll get bored of her by the time she's nearly 17, I bet. It continues. Verse 2.
Your parents say I'm not for you.
Again, grooming technique, but they're right. Davey, you're in your 30s, you were singing this in your 50s. Imagine a 56-year-old man singing that to a 50... She's 15! She's not even 16! It's like the sun doing a countdown to when Charlotte Church was going to be 16, and we'd all get to see... Wah. She's 15, and again, it's divisive. He's trying to, put some distance between the girl and the parents. Classic grooming technique. It continues. Here we go.
But they don't know me like you're gonna do.
Let's just listen to that one again, okay? Because that really is the dirtiest of the lines.
And you know what I mean when I say I love you, baby. Now when
Okay, so we know this bit, but the parents don't like him, and what's his kind of little comeback there? What's his little comeback? Here we go.
your parents say I'm not for you,
They've got a point. Here we go. Here we go.
but they don't know me like you're gonna do.
Yes, Davey.
They don't seem to think young love can be true.
You're in your 30s.
It's true as the stars that shine in the sky.
It's true as I'm looking at you, baby. You'll soon be 16, and you know what I mean when I say I love you, baby. Now when you are 16, you're gonna be with me my whole life. Key change, Davey! Baby! You think this is bad enough? He's gonna do a sex noise. He's gonna slip a sex noise in.
You know what I mean when I say
I love you,
baby. Now when you are 16, you're gonna be with me my whole life.
Ooh.
My whole life. Ooh. My whole life through. Oh baby, I'm so in love.
Now, The thing about, and this is a genre, I did a podcast on this age ago, there is a genre of pedo rock, and the thing about it is, the songs are very catchy. They would have to be, wouldn't they? I'll try and remember some of the other songs. 0844 499 1000. Alan, come to you after this. Gary Puckett and Young Girl. I think he's sending her away, isn't he? Young Girl. Get out of my mind. Does he say mind or life? Let me ask a musical expert. Alan?
Hip, hip, hip.
The phones don't work. Yes, Alan.
Hip, hip, hip.
The phones still don't work. Bugger. Never mind. Gary Puckett and the Union Gap.
I've heard of it.
Sorry?
I've heard of it.
Young Girl!
Get out of my mind.
Is it Get Out of My Mind?
Yeah.
In that case, he's a pedo. In the song. In that case, he's a young girl, get out of my mind. Your love for me is way out of line.
I was way out of time.
Well, okay. Better run, girl. You're much too young, girl. Why run? Why can't she stroll out? Why are you ordering children to run away from you, Gary Puckett? Gary, more like.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. We're going to compile a list, and I did have a big list of this before. Well, we've heard the Beach Boys and Hey Little Tomboy, of course. Hey, ye little tomboy. We're going to compile a list of pedo rock, and of course anything by Gary Glitter or Jonathan King. What you got for us?
Harris.
Well, yeah, exactly. Rolf Harris, there was a story in the paper recently that he was getting in trouble in prison. I don't mean shanked. Although some of the listeners yesterday would probably want him to get knifed in a prison shower. That's how cold and callous they are.
Yeah.
He was getting in trouble with his fellow inmates for farting a lot.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Probably all that goes because he stuck it under his didgeridoo.
I don't, and he also was getting in trouble, and I deliberately don't read out, by the way, literally no other phone calls tonight, which is good, because the phone controller in my studio is broken, but literally no phone calls tonight. I've got a feeling, Alan, the wheels have come off this gravy train.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Car crash radio.
Car crash radio, sir. 0844 499 1000 if you want to take part.
Please call.
Please, God. I mean, I don't want to sound desperate, but bloody hell, please. I'm literally begging you to call in for
If you want about the cost, don't worry, we call you back.
We call you back. Don't worry about the cost, we call you back. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Young girl, get out of my mind. Your love for me is way out of time. Better run, girl. You're much too young, girl.
Gary Bucket.
What were the rest of the lyrics to it, though?
I don't know. It was before my time.
Well, so was Jesus, but you've heard of him, yeah?
Yeah, we know his birthday's on Christmas Day.
Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. Young girl lyrics. Let's find out. I want to know if he's getting horny during the song is what I want to find out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hang on a second. God, the internet here. Dear internet. Please, it's like being on 56. The page is literally loading up a line at a time. With all the charms of a woman. Oh, she's a tease.
I've got the lyrics on Google.
Go on then, recite them, please.
Young girl, get out of my mind. My love for you is way out of line. Better one, girl.
So it was line, not time. It was line, not time. Thank you, Alan.
Okay. With all the charms of a woman, you kept the secret of your youth. You've led me to believe you're old enough to give me love, and now it hurts to know the truth.
Like that fella, like the footballer, isn't it? Who said it? She was 16, was she? She was 15.
Johnson.
Well, let's. I was deliberately not mentioning any names, Alan, just so we don't confuse that pudding. But there you go. Go on.
Second lyric, second verse.
Yep.
Beneath your perfume and makeup, you're just a baby in disguise.
Yeah.
And though you know that it is wrong to be alone with me, that come on look is in your eyes. Oh.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, right, this has been played at virtually every party I have ever been to in the 43 years of my existence. And here's pedo rock. It's catchy. Continue.
Right, third lyric. So hurry home to your mama.
Yeah.
I'm sure she wonders where you are. Get out of here before I have the time to change my mind because I'm afraid we'll go too far.
Oh, so he is horny. He's saying if she doesn't get out of there, he's going to end up having sex with her, and it's her fault. Her fault.
Dear.
Her fault, Gary. Gary Puckett is blamed. Just read those lines again for anyone that may have missed it.
What the final verse? So hurry home to your mama. I'm sure she wonders where you are. Get out of here before I have the time to change my mind because I'm afraid we'll go too far.
Oh! Flippin' heck, Dirty Puckett. Dirty Puckett in the teenage gap.
Oh dear, the Union Gap.
And I've just remembered... Union Gap, sorry. I've just remembered another one.
Which one's that?
ABBA, Does Your Mother Know? Now, admittedly, he's sending her away. Benny and Bjorn are sending her away. But they do still sing, you can dance with me, baby, flirt a little, maybe. You can't flirt with children. It's a child. You can dance with me, baby, flirt a little, maybe. But does your mum know you're out? What if she doesn't? Does that make it all right then, you Swedish perverts?
Yeah, it starts from the very beginning. You're so hot, teasing me, but you're blue, but I can't take a chance on shit like you. That's something I couldn't do.
Yeah.
But that look in your eyes, I can read in your face that your feelings are driving you on. But girl, you're only a child.
I can't take a chance on you. That implies that if the other members of ABBA and the press weren't around, he would take a chance. And the thing is, I can't imagine myself being in any scenario when a 14 or 15-year-old girl is like, A, would be coming on to me, and B, you go, just, right, this stops right now, right? This, and I would call witnesses over. I would say, this is nothing. You're gonna go. We're gonna phone your mum up. I'm flattered. I'm going to get a female to talk to you. I'm going to leave the building and go home. That's what I'm getting out of here. I'm going to phone her mum up and tell her. Right, that's it, done. But no, ABBA writes a bloody song about it. It's outrageous.
And this sort of thing was acceptable in the 70s. They released it now, they'll have Operation U-Tree on them.
There would literally be U-Tree and knocking on their Swedish door. Dirty.
We're an extradition to the UK.
Yeah, exactly. Right, it begins here. Let's extradite ABBA to the UK. Oh, we're out of Europe. We can't do it now. Damn you. That's another thing we got to, for Farage. We can't prosecute Benny and Bjorn for sex crimes. Thanks, Farage. Perverts escape justice yet again.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh, dear. Does anyone here old enough, it will just be me, right, to remember a television programme starring, I can't remember his name, but it was called Oh No, It's Selwyn Froggatt. Does anyone remember that? No? Okay. It starred the fat lad who was in Heartbeat. Bill Maynard, was that his name? It was also the Gaffer. It was also in the Gaffer? Anybody? No? No one remembers the Gaffer. The Gaffer was Bill Maynard. And the theme tune went, he's the gaffer. When he's walking down the street, he's the gaffer. And it was kind of like a poor man's minder, I think. That's irrelevant. What is relevant, Bert, I'm coming to you in a second, 0844 499 1000. What is relevant is Oh No, It's Selwyn Froggatt, right? I'm speaking to a tiny percentage of the listeners at home now. Does anybody think that they could remake Oh No, It's Selwyn Froggatt with Alan Caddick? Anybody? Anyone? All I remember about Oh No, It's Selwyn Froggatt, if my sister's listening, she will know exactly what scene I'm going to talk about, where he put on a disco and he had a road cone on his head, and that's all I remember. I think he was like the British Rain Man. I think that was the joke. Oh No, It's Selwyn Froggatt. Anybody? We don't talk about old TV programmes very often, but on this one, I could do with a little bit of help. And if Caddick was to remake it, oh dear. 0844 499 1000 is the phone number. Bert, coming to you after this. Carpet Martin reminds me of one that even as a child, I thought was weird. I remember it being sung by two people. The first time I remember it being sung was by Potsy Webber on Happy Days, right? The second time, and this is the version that you may remember, dear listener, 08444991000, Sasha Distel, Thank Heavens for Little Girls. Ooh, ba 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 ba. That was, and also not as catchy. Distel's perhaps greatest crime was that it was not as catchy. Gary Puckett, both those songs that we've had, right? Puckett and Jones. Baby, You'll Soon Be 16 and Young Girl. Really big choruses that you can sing along. I remember family parties where Gary Puckett, everyone was singing along to Gary Puckett. It's one of those songs, isn't it? Right? It's one of those songs that you sing for years, and then years and years later, you get to read the lyrics. You get the CD, and you read in the lyrics, go, flipping hell, I've been singing it all this time, and I never knew it was about that. Blimey. 08444991000. Yes, Bert.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Bert.
How you doing?
Quiet on the phones, Bert. Quiet on the phones.
Caller, I thought I'd alleviate your quietness.
Well, it is appreciated. Thank you.
I remember that Selwyn Froggett programme, even though it was a little bit before my time, but I remember my nan having it on, watching repeats of it, and I remember there was a character who always used to say magic and put his thumbs up.
That was it! Magic!
And there was a really boring Scouse guy in it, but I can't remember a great deal else. But I just remember those.
He was, he was, in the 70s, I think we would have said he was retarded.
I don't know if we'd say that now.
No, we wouldn't say that now, but I remember, I think the joke was that he was, cat's mouthing the word simple to me as though that's better. I think, the joke was that he was, mentally deficient in some way, and that was the joke. Because he wasn't, I was about to say he wasn't all there. God almighty, we're sinking into a 70s black hole I can't say black hole, blimey! But that was the gag. The gag was that he wasn't, he was mentally deficient, and he would get into scrapes by the fact that he was, not very bright.
Yeah, that's it.
Magic.
I was ringing about the Peado Rock playlist as well.
Yeah, go on. It's a good one, isn't it?
My immediate thought was the smash hit film Top Gun had the song Playing with the Boys by Kenny Loggins. And it was during that homoerotic scene where they were all playing, not netball. What's the one with the thing in the middle?
What?
Volleyball.
Volleyball, yes.
Yeah, the volleyball scene where they're playing volleyball and they're all being really masculine and their tops off, and this song starts playing in the background. And part of the chorus is one of life's simple joys is playing with the boys.
Hang on a minute, what song is this?
It's Playing with the Boys by Kenny Loggins.
But he doesn't mean, hang on, though. He doesn't mean, he's not.
Were you in Kenny Loggins' head when he wrote that?
No, but he just means going out with the lads, with the geezers. He's having a geezer break.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
It is, there is Gary Glitter. I mean, Gary Glitter, I'm a big Gary Glitter fan, right? And I say this, and I've said this before, I am a big Gary Glitter fan. I, like his music, and I liked his music, and I'm not saying this to be controversial, and I like watching documentaries about him. I find what he did, of course, and I have to say this because some people won't be listening, as was proven yesterday, I find, of course, his crimes and the man himself abhorrent, right? But the music's great. The music was mainly, the best songs were written by Mike Leander, who's sadly no longer with us. He was the genius. But he left a lot of clues in his music, in plain sight. He was hiding in plain sight. So, do you want to touch me there? Yeah, that's fine. That's fair enough. There was, there was it. He had a B-side to the Dance Me Up single called, hang on a minute. Hang on. Give me, what was it? I just had it in my head. Hang on. Too young to dance, too young to take a chance. He was telling us all the time, all the flipping time.
We should have seen it.
But we should have. Well, I'm going to stop there because I don't want to make light about the crimes. And I was going to say we should have seen it coming, and then I realised that would, and I don't. I don't want to make light about the crimes at all. There'll be people mishearing this slightly and think, oh, he's making jokes about paedophilia. Not at all. We're just looking for songs that you listen to, you completely inappropriate. My sister. Good evening, Joe. It reminded me of the theme tune to Selwyn Froggatt simply by writing down the lyrics. Na 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 na, never mind. Na 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 na, never mind. Na 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 na, never mind. That's all I remember. That's the theme tune to Selwyn Froggatt. It was a real programme, guys. The 70s. As I was driving in, okay, I'm really digging at the moment Radio 4 Extra, because I've got DAB in the car now. I'm really digging Radio 4 Extra, and they play some amazing stuff. A brilliant documentary on the way home last night about When Harry Met Sally. Brilliant. A couple of weeks ago, they were playing this 1952 radio series by Orson Welles that hadn't been played since 1952. Absolutely brilliant. And they do a lot of comedies, and sometimes I go and earn $1 there, right? They were playing this thing when I was driving in. It was about 7 o'clock, and it was by the way, Radio 4 have remade some lost episodes of Hancock. And when I heard this, I thought, oh, it's going to be like when Paul Merton filmed. Do you remember when Paul Merton in the 90s for ITV refilmed some Hancock episodes? You remember that? Oh, they were stinkers. And this series was on Radio 4. And I remember hearing about it, I think, it's going to be a stinker. It went half funny. I listened to it today. It was proper funny. Proper funny. If you bought into it, if you really bought into it and went, right, that's Hancock, it was about a matador. It was about a matador of all things. That's Hancock, that's Kenneth Williams, and that's Sid James. Forget their slightly ropey impressions, and you really buy into it. It was a lot of fun. Craig and Andy, stay there, I'll come to you in a second. 0844 499 1000. It was really good. And then I went to Radio 4 Extra. And they were playing, I'm going to guess it was from the 70s. I'm going to guess 1976, and that's a pure guess. It had Derek Guyler in it. Remember Derek Guyler? Do you remember Derek Guyler? He was the caretaker in Please Sir. God, I'm old. He was a good actor, really good actor. I didn't talk like that. I'm going to do a Derek Guyler. He talks in a... Well, no, I can't. Anyway, so Derek Guyler, and it was called The Men from the Ministry. It was awful. And I couldn't stop listening to it because it was so weak in its humour, right? And I was trying to think, okay, well, this is 40 years old. Perhaps 40 years ago, this would have been seen as a lot funnier. Now, of course, it's impossible to imagine what people would have found funny 40 years ago. But the audience weren't laughing very much. There was an audience there, and they weren't laughing very much. And it was just... Well, it was so hackneyed and cliched. It might have been earlier than the 70s, actually. And I was thinking, well, maybe it wasn't cliched then. Maybe that... But there was nothing saving about it at all. Nothing redeeming about it at all. It was awful, but I could not stop listening to it because it was so bloody bad. There are still programmes like that on Radio 4 today. There is one, and I have to be so careful because I tweet this stuff now. And I've got to stop tweeting because I don't mean to do it to be rude. But I've tweeted while something poor has been on the 6:30 comedy slot on Radio 4. And then one of my followers has gone, yeah, I produced that. I've done that, and I've had a couple of conversations with people where I've apologised, and we've kissed and made up. So I'm not going to mention any names because I think that would be unfair. But there are I can think of two the series that have recently ended on Radio 4 comedy shows that are just. Oh, I mean, it's like, was this 1952? What are you doing? It's radio, man, you know it's radio, and you can build anything, you can be anywhere, and you can do anything for pretty much free, with sound effects and stuff, pretty much for free. You can create any kind of atmosphere. And instead it's just these lumpen, wooden, lame scripts that would have fitted in the 70s. You know, just awful. Anyway, I'm going off on a rant. Craig, Andy, Triss, stay there. 0844 499 1000.
Selwyn thinks he's scored, never mind. Planning trips abroad, never mind. Stratford is his aim, to share in Shakespeare's fame. The committee knows his game, so never mind. So never mind.
There were a significant number in the 70s, 0844 499 1000, of really boring comedies that were kind of set in Yorkshire. That, you know, when I say Yorkshire, what I mean is there was a brass band on the theme tune, and they had tiny little back gardens and an alleyway. You know, like at the back of the houses in Coronation Street. They were like that. So Yorkshire is a massive generalisation. I'm from the liberal elite media, of course. I have no idea what you people get up to. So there was Selwyn Froggatt. There was a Bit of a Do. Remember a Bit of a Do? I'm so old. I'm talking to children. A Bit of a Do. Shine On Harvey Moon. There was the one about the funeral parlour. That wasn't Harvey Moon, was it? The funeral parlour. Anyway, we'll get there in the end. Andy wants to join in. Good evening, Andy.
Oh, hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Andy.
Aye, that's magic, that is. I remember Selwyn Froggatt.
It was rubbish, wasn't it?
It was rubbish, but, you know, it was kind of gentle humour, you know,
gentle humour. So not funny.
Not being very nice to a man who was a little bit, shall we say, uncomplicated.
Yeah, he was mentally undeveloped, wasn't he? That was the joke.
Yes, he was.
That was the joke.
That was the joke.
Oh, the 70s. No one mentions that. Everyone mentions Love Thy Neighbour. Oh, it's racist. Wait a minute, what about Selwyn Froggatt? They were mocking, mental illness. I missed the 70s.
I recently saw an episode of On the Buses.
Oh, yeah.
On the TV. And, you know, while I kind of remembered it fondly and watched it and kind of chuckled a little bit, it really was very weak.
Yeah, no, I think even at the time, On the Buses was considered to be poor.
Yeah.
You know, there's an Ab Fab movie out, right? And we've had the In-Betweeners movies and all of that. Of course, it all started with those old sitcoms. There's a Steptoe and Son, the two Steptoe and Son movies, and in one of them, the young man calls the old man a winker. I'm sure he does. So there's two Steptoe and Son movies. There's, I think, two On the Buses movies.
Ooh, there's two On the Buses. Now the movies are actually not bad.
Yeah. I tell you the movie I liked, and I tell you why, because I saw it at a young age. I was prepubescent. Bear with me. But I started to feel affection, not lust, romantic affection towards certain women. Right. Mm-hmm. And the one that really got me was the Please Sir movie.
I was just thinking of the Please Sir movies. What was the name of that blonde woman that was his girlfriend in the movies? I
can't remember any of the characters' names. I know there was the guy that was he was like a tramp, and he had a mouse in his pocket, and he was poor, and they smuggled him because the film was in Please Sir. The premise of the film was they all went on a school trip, didn't they?
Yes.
And they smuggled the poor guy on the back of the bus, and there was the nerdy girl that really fancied John Alderton.
That's right.
But
and then there was a slightly tarty girl as well, wasn't there?
Yes. And that's not being rude. That was the character. There was a dark-haired girl as well who was a little bit prim and proper. She was the one I had emotional attachment towards.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't go for the tarty one. Isn't that funny?
You didn't go for no.
Good film. That was a good film, that, the Please Sir movie.
Yeah, it was a good film. Yeah, exactly. And another one, here's another one from the 70s that would never be allowed now, is Mind Your Language.
Yeah, I watched that. Here's the thing, right? About a year ago, I was talking about that in another life. and I decided to go and watch an episode of it to see if it was racist. It's not racist at all.
Isn't it? Isn't it? It's a bit stereotypical, though.
It's stereotypical. Yeah, they are racial stereotypes. You know, there is. There is the sexy French woman who lives. I believe she lives in Cornwall now, and there was the Indian man, you know, who waggled his head. So there were racial stereotypes, but it was, if anything, it was all about cohesion and communities joining together and being able to laugh and appreciate each other's differences. It wasn't that funny, but it was actually quite charming. Did they make a film of Mind Your Language?
I think they did, yeah. And there was also a subsequent series of it a few years later that was extremely terrible.
Yep. I'm good. Well, tomorrow I'm going to find the film and watch it. It was, what was the name of the guy that was in it? Really good actor, Barry. Barry.
I can't remember.
Barry Edwards? Was it Barry Edwards?
Something like that.
If I was on Mastermind and the time was ticking away, I would say Barry Edwards. It's always best to give an answer on Mastermind rather than passing, because they
the Indian
Barry
guy
Evans.
On it was Evans. Yeah.
Barry Evans, that was it. Yes, thank you, Catherine.
The Indian guy that played the Indian character in it was the same. He was like the stock Indian actor that was on everything. Yeah.
And it was.
If you needed an Indian actor, you had him.
Yeah, there was the Italian guy. It was good. Yeah. It wasn't that funny, but it certainly wasn't racist. Barry Evans. Now, there's a sad story. He was like he was a middling British film star in the 60s and I think he was in a film called Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush, like a typical 60s sex farce.
Okay.
And he made quite a few films and series. And I think after Mind Your Language, he didn't work again. And he ended up being a minicab driver.
Oh, really? Oh,
have I got this right? Now, here we go. Now I really am. I could be making stuff up, Andy. I think he was murdered. Well, that was an evil laugh, and I accuse you, Andy!
No, it's not. It's just that it's like you think you may have made it up.
I think Barry Evans was murdered.
Oh, I'll have to research that.
As a minicab driver. I think he was. And I think it may have been something to do with, was he gay as well, and was that part of it? I don't know. We will find out. I'm sorry.
Have to research that.
We will find out before the end of the show. If anyone's got any...
Ian, can I ask you about another TV show that anytime I've ever asked anyone about the show, no one can remember it.
Yeah.
So either I dreamt it, or it really happened and I was the only person that watched it. John Pertwee presented it.
Yes.
It was called Who Done It?
Go on, give me some more details. I'm remembering this.
Okay.
Yes.
It was like a panel quiz show where they had celebrities and a panel.
Yep.
And they would show a film of some crime that had happened.
Yeah. It was like Cluedo.
And then, kind of like exactly. And then they'd go back to the celebrities, and the celebrities would be able to ask for a particular part of the film to be reshown. And they were allowed to ask questions, and the idea was that one of them would work out in the end who committed the murder.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I remember that. It was good, that.
You're the only person I have ever spoken to in my entire life who remembers that.
Well, Andy asks, I'm a very, very old man. Someone on Twitter, are we really talking old 70s TV shows? Not kids' shows. And we're not really, which is just the way the conversation has gone. I just had, we started off with, you can call in about anything, by the way, guys. I don't want you to think that this is, a formatted, kind of thing. Call in about anything you want. I was talking about, songs that sounded like they were being sung by paedophiles because the lyrics were, distasteful. And I've got no idea how we got into Selwyn Froggatt. I don't know. Well, so no, we're not talking about shows from the 70s. We're talking about Selwyn Froggatt specifically. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Triss and Craig, we'll come to you in a minute. I meant to do this at the top of the show. I knew there was something. The podcast has changed ever so slightly. For those of you who listen to the first couple of hours of the show and then fall asleep, I know that some of you do, or listen to the first hour. The podcast before was kind of taken from the first hour, generally. We have changed that, and that Catherine now basically takes big chunks, the whole of it. Big chunks, the whole last hour. Big bits from the last hour. It's compiled from bits from the last hour. So if you fall asleep or you miss it or whatever, it'll be worth. What I'm trying to say is download the bloody podcast, you plebs. Download it, please. And if you weren't downloading it because you tried it and you thought, well, it's just the first hour. Well, it's not now. It's kind of the last hour. So spread the good news, guys. Spread the good news. And it's on iTunes and your usual podcast providers. Type in Iain Lee and talk and it pops up. We've had no women calling in yet so far. I'm aware it's painfully quiet on the phones. I don't know if everybody's, upping their Labour membership. You know, everyone that joined Labour last year to vote for Jeremy Corbyn, or whenever it was, they have to pay an extra £25 if they want to vote in this next one. That's clever. Bye, Labour! Bye, Labour Party! Bye! Bye! Go on, ta-ta! It's finished, isn't it? The Labour Party's finished, isn't it? It's quite sad. Triss!
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Triss.
How you doing, my friend, all right?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. What you got for us?
Couple of bits. I really enjoyed Film Ring last night, but I know you don't seem sure about it.
I'm unsure about it. Yeah, I don't know if we'll do it again. I'll think about it.
Why do you think that?
I'm having a great period of self-doubt about everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
No.
Cass, can you come and check the fan in here? Because it's bloody hot in here. I'm sweating like a good un. Just getting Catherine.
But you had an incredible week last week, didn't you? You were so busy last week.
Good week last week. Not such a good week this week, it would appear. Maybe the bubble has burst. I don't know. You know, we'll see. You know, we'll get there. But I'm just, I'm having oh, there it is. I felt it. Oh, I felt that, Cass. Whatever you just did, I'll have that again. There it is. Cool air. Here comes the cool air. Here comes the air. I'm just having a period of self-doubt, Triss, about everything in my life. Literally everything is being questioned and torn apart. And I can't sleep. And I'm anxious. And you know when your left arm is quite tingly?
Yeah.
I've had that for 2 weeks, which can't be a good thing, can it?
You haven't got a problem with your heart, have you?
No, I don't know.
You get that checked out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But life's hard, mate, you know?
Yeah.
Anyone that says it isn't lying to you. We all struggle.
Yeah.
You know?
Everyone's struggling.
There's no answer, there's no solution. It's hard work, mate.
It is hard work, and I can't run to my mum and dad, because my dad's dead, and my mum's, not particularly with it, man. So, you just got to get up and deal with it, but I don't know if I can. So tomorrow, I am intending to spend the whole day in bed. That's the plan, Stan. I'm spending the whole day in bed, and I might go for a little run, and that's it. That's all I'm doing.
You're back on your exercise kick now, because it slipped for a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, the food hasn't been great. The food was good today. I had a week of eating a load of old crap. And, I went for a run on Saturday, and I might go for a run tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah. I'm tired, Triss. I'm tired of it all. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
It's hard work, yeah. I went to I've got this real thing. I hate getting my hair cut. I really hate getting my hair cut, and I'll only get my hair cut if there's no queue.
Yeah.
And I go to I saw this, I was in Guildford the other day, and I saw this chap, this barber, who, he had no one in there. Really cheap, £8 for a haircut. So I thought, yeah, we'll do that.
Beautiful.
Straight in. I sat down, and he says, razor or scissors. So I say scissors, and he just starts cutting. He's got 2 haircuts, but it took him about 6 minutes.
Hang on a minute, he got two haircuts.
He's got. I think in his armour.
Oh, in his repertoire. Okay, yeah.
One with scissors, one with a razor. I said scissors straight away. Off he goes. No chatting, which I like.
Yeah, I don't like the conversation at the hairdressers. I get very anxious.
Yeah, so do I. I don't like it at all. It's
saying that. I see a lovely young lady called Jo, who is brilliant. And if I'm quiet, she'll be quiet, and if I talk, she'll talk. All she does is ask me about Rylan, and I haven't seen for ages. But she's lovely, actually. I like Jo a lot. I found a hairdresser that I can, is all right. But yeah, I do suffer from hairdressing anxiety, definitely.
Yeah, and I feel when they start talking to you, I feel sort of duty bound to talk back. 'Cause they're so close to you, and they're touching you. But anyway, at the end of this haircut, they normally do the thing with the mirror at the back.
Yeah.
He he finished cut and he went, "It's good," and physically pushed me out the chair.
Beautiful. I respect that.
Great.
I tell Joe, me and Joe, we've got rid of the mirror at the back of the head routine. I've said, don't do that anymore. She said, why? I said, well, because I know what it'll look like. It will look like the back of my head, but neater. I know what you're doing. I never see the back of my head. I know that she's done a good job. She's done, got it's all wherever I want it, all straight. And so I don't need to see the back of it. Beautiful. Yeah, let's just save that and let's get out.
He was great, yeah. And I'm not a vain man. It's just make me a bit neater. That's all I need.
Triss, that's exactly how I'm going to do the rude thing now where I cut you off because I have no fader. Oh, and I cut you off before I said that, so you wouldn't have heard it. But I have no fader. So if I cut you off rather quickly in these phone calls, it's because I have no fader. Craig, stay there. 0844 499 1000. So, Peado Rock, Selwyn Froggatt, and not looking at the back of your head when you've had a haircut. That's an hour of radio down, guys.
Talk Radio.
Yes, dear listener, this is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. What are we talking about? Peado Rock, Selwyn Froggatt, not getting and not looking at the back of your hair. Well, hairdresser anxiety, just as a whole, really, because it's a tense time. I need to get a haircut as well. It's a tense time, guys. 0844 499 1000. We call you back. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
1, 2, 3.
Tell me what ailing me, doctor. You said, and be all I really need. Good love. Now give me that good love. All I need is love. Good love, baby, good love. Now, honey, please squeeze me tight. Don't you want your baby to be alright? Be alright. I say, baby, like it's for sure. It's for sure. I got the fever, yeah. You got the cure. Got the cure. Everybody, yeah. This be all I really need. Now come on, now give me that love. All I need is love. Good looking, baby, good luck.
It's the Rascals, isn't it? It's good, that one. Yeah, that is good. That is a good song. That is a good song. We've got Felix, who's the lead singer and the keyboardist from the Rascals, coming on a little bit later on. Spoke to him the other day, and he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He talks about playing with the Beatles in Germany and stuff. Wow, flipping heck. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. We're all a bit tired. It's Tuesday night. It's been really crappy weather. We're all a little bit tired and feeling a little bit fragile. So we're gently picking our way through the show this evening. What have we talked about? Peado Rock, songs by, I'm not suggesting that the artists are in any way, have those tendencies, but the lyrics you kind of think, you're singing a love sexy song to a child. It's not appropriate. Gary Puckett, young girl. ABBA, Does Your Mother Know? Davy Jones, Baby, You'll Soon Be 16. 08444991000. Selwyn Froggatt, Barry Evans, and hairdresser Anxiety. Julie's on the line. Yes, Julie?
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Julie.
Actually, I was going to talk about haircuts, but I just thought of, how about that song, Thank Heavens for Little Girls?
I think we did mention that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Sasha Distel, yes.
So back to haircuts. Can you tell me something, Ian? I'm quite surprised at men having anxiety about haircuts.
Why?
I don't know, because I suppose I think of it as kind of being fairly simple. So what would be your anxiety?
What do you mean it's simple? Are you nuts? You're paying a stranger. You have to sit and let a stranger touch you. And also it's that weird thing, right, of you're looking in the mirror. So it's constant eye contact. You constantly got to make eye contact with them. I have never left a hairdresser's and not had an absolutely terrible headache at the end of it.
Can I ask you a question? How much do you pay for a haircut?
I pay £28 for my haircuts.
Because there's that
£29, because I go to a salon. When I got them cut in London, I got them cut by another Joe, but it was a bloke. Absolutely genius. A genius with the hair. He did Dermot O'Leary's hair. I'd pay 40 quid a pop then, but he was good.
But the thing is, when you find somebody you're happy with, you will pay that, won't you?
Yeah. I could never do that thing. The last caller, I think, was it Triss? I could never go to those haircuts where it's 8 quid. I can't do it. Couldn't do it.
My husband goes to a Turkish barber shop, and every time he comes back, he'll say to me, "How badly did he mess it up this time?"
Yeah.
Because at the back, his hairline would be 2 inches above.
I can't do it. I'm happy. I mean, and also 29 quid in the great scheme of things is not a lot of money for a haircut. You can pay a lot more than that. I once had, thanks to Bob and Mortimer, I once had my haircut in a salon for free. Right, there's this woman called Ashley. She was really good. We filmed a pilot show together, and had I paid her for that haircut, it would have cost £100. But for a bloke's haircut, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
An awful lot of money for a bloke. But, you see, women have that kind of... Well, women's haircuts are just generally more expensive.
Yeah.
But I have anxiety about having new hairdressers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I always think, are they going to give me a bad haircut just because they want to... just do something nasty.
When I moved out of London, and I moved out of London, so it made it difficult to go and see my bloke Joe, and also I stopped earning the kind of moolah that I was earning, where I could justify 40 quid a month on a haircut. And so I had to find a new hairdresser. And I spent days on the internet looking at the names of hairdressing salons, the location in the town, looking at the frontage of the hairdressers to try and get an idea of what the business was like, and then picking someone. Then I found my salon, and then picking someone within that salon. Flipping heck.
And you see, the thing is that when they say to you at the end, and how do you like it? By that stage, it's actually too late.
Yep.
To say if you don't like it.
Has anyone ever? And I know actually some people have. Has anyone ever? So do you like it? Nope. No. Oh.
No, because I'm too polite to say it. So the woman did my hair, and she just made me look like my mum. And what do you say at the end? Do you like it? No, I think you've made me look a bit old. What do you say? You can't really say anything. You just say, yeah, it's lovely, thank you, and you just never go there again.
Well, this is it. I can't imagine anyone has ever sat there and gone, nope. We're going to do a bit more work on this. This is not good. I mean, with dyeing and stuff, I can understand that, and tints and things. I can imagine someone might go, well, you've not done it right. You missed a bit, or that's a bit. But with an actual bog standard cut, someone going, we need.
Because by that time,
this isn't. I'm not leaving.
You can't say stick it back on, and you know that if you say you don't like it, then the person who's just done a bad haircut on you has got to try and make it right, and then you don't trust them to try and make it right.
Here's another thing as well, the tip. Flipping it. The tip. I haven't tipped for years just because I don't get it. I put what I do with the place I go to now is I put Christmas when they have like the Christmas pot. I put 20 quid in there at Christmas. I do that. That's all the tips for all the year. Sometimes I don't get my haircut at Christmas. Yeah. Okay.
Do you have somebody different wash your hair to cut your hair?
Huh?
Do you have your hair washed when you have it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So usually in my salon, somebody different washes it to the person who cuts it, or maybe who dries it, and then it's like I don't know which person to give them tips to.
This is, and you ask why I have anxiety? Really? You see what I mean?
I just thought that men's haircuts. I didn't think that men were bothered by it. If I'm honest,
Julie, I'm going to do that rude thing where I cut you off because I haven't got a fader. Yes. Sad news. A lot of you have been asking me to get Anders Weberg on the show. Who's Anders Weberg? He's making the film that is 720 hours long. He's just replied, basically saying no. So that's bad news for fans of Anders Weberg and films that are 720 hours long. Hey, Paul goes to gets his haircut at Joe's. Say hello to Joe next time he's in the one in London because he's good. He's brilliant. Look, why does this person... I've had this person set up 3 separate Twitter accounts this evening to have a pop at me. Oh, and I'm seeing the police this week, so that'll get that sorted. I'm seeing the police this week. Yep. You know who you are. I'm seeing the police this week. I've got an appointment booked in, and I shall be giving them your details. Oh, and all of the screen grabs. Thanks for that. Craig!
Ian.
Craig.
I've got 2 Peado songs for you.
Thank you very much indeed. There's a start to a phone call, yes.
But, did you ever watch Talking Pictures TV on Sky or...
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's a films channel. It's a free channel, even on Freeview it's free.
Yeah.
But it plays, mostly it plays 50s and 60s films. Yeah. And there's loads of musicals and British rock bands playing in music songs, movies.
Oh, I don't have Sky. Will it be on that?
It's on Sky. It's a free channel.
I don't have Sky. Will it be on that?
It's on Freeview as well.
I don't really have Freeview. We have a Sky. Well, we have the Sky box, but that's Freeview now, isn't it? Because we don't pay for the Sky. Okay, right.
Even if it hasn't got a Sky card that's active, you can still watch this channel.
That's how to do it.
343 it is.
I got yes, okay, that good. Well, I'll and they show all the old bands in movies, do they?
Yeah, there was like a Jerry and the Pacemakers musical.
Ferry Cross the Mersey.
Yeah,
I paid a fortune for that on DVD, hooky DVD. It's terrible, and it's got Savile in it.
Yeah. But there's loads of them, and there's like Tommy Steele films, all those sorts of things.
My boys, one of my boys' most requested film clips on my phone is Tommy Steele singing Flashbang Wallop. The boys love that. They think it is. Have you ever seen that clip?
Maybe as a kid.
Oh, mate, go on YouTube. Tommy Steele, Flashbang Wallop. It is it's about 6.5 minutes long. It is an absolute masterpiece. A man at the peak of his performing powers. It's incredible.
I will watch that.
Catherine, sorry, it's getting hot in here again. Can you come and have a little look at the old doodah? It's getting very, very hot in here. Very hot, Craig. And it can't be the excellent conversation. It's boiling. I'm sweating like a pig. It is warm, isn't it? What have you done? You've done something. Don't. Today. Steady. Oh, auto. No. But hang on, we're just doing the 33, what is it on? 33? It was on 33? Flipping heck, Craig. She put it on 33. No, someone else put it on 33. Well, no, you were the last person to touch it.
I didn't even look at the temperature. I don't do Celsius or my app.
I know do I, but I like it on 16. This doesn't go down to 16. It only goes down to 17. It was up at 33. Yeah. Flipping Ada.
My BBC weather, all my apps are Fahrenheit. I can't stand the new Celsius.
Yeah, I'm old money as well. I was that strange generation where I prefer centimetres, but I can do inches, but I prefer centimetres. But I measure myself in feet.
That's it.
And I still do miles. and I'm pounds and ounces.
That's it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm 47, so I'm about 5 years older than you and I. So it's that sort of era.
Yeah. Anything else, Craig?
The Peado song.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Well, ABBA's got previous, because they got Dancing Girl as well.
Well, how old is Dancing Girl, though?
She's young and sweet, only 16.
Well, 16's legal. And in Spain, up until recently, it was 13, wasn't it? The age of consent. 13.
They've just... One of the states in America have just put a law through saying 12-year-olds can't get married. You have to get your parents' permission, mind, but 12. And the other one, it's a bit of a joke one, isn't it? But Save All Your Kisses for Me.
I'm not going to... Brother of Man and not Pete. No.
She was only 3.
Yeah, no, exactly, but it's like his little girl.
I said it was a joke one.
Well, I'm going to give you a joke one right in your hooter in a minute. My fist, I'm going to punch you, is what I'm trying to say. Yes, Ed.
Hey there, Vivian.
Hip, Ed.
Is this an okay volume?
Hello? Yes, hello, why?
No, I'm staying for a conference in a hall of residence, so I'm just trying to keep the volume.
It's a good volume for me. And I'm hoping it's a good volume for all of those stoners, I mean students, that are relaxing there. They won't even be home yet, for goodness sakes. It's 19 minutes past 11 on a Tuesday night. They'll be out having it large.
Yeah, but it'll be like holidaymakers and people, but anyway.
Yes, of course, right, yes. What you got for us, Ed?
Well, I didn't want to keep it too formulaic, but I was hearing what you're saying about 70s kind of sitcoms and 80s sitcoms. Yeah. And it just, you probably talked about this before, but one of the people I think is really interesting, who was massive when I was a kid, and he retired from public life because he got ill, but he was huge, Richard O'Sullivan.
Richard O'Sullivan. I knew you were going to say it. Richard O'Sullivan, one of this country's greatest ever actors. Robin's Nest, George and Mildred.
Me and My Girl.
That was one. Friday nights, Me and My Girl. Here we go. It all links up. When I moved to Muswell Hill in North London, I was accosted in a bank by a man who said he knew Ricky Gervais, and I recently finished working with Ricky Gervais. He was a hairdresser, and he said, come, I've worked with Ricky Gervais and Amy Winehouse. I suspect there was a certain amount of BS going on there. But his hairdressing salon was just around the corner from me, and I went several times. And you know that thing we were just talking about when you get a really bad haircut, does anyone ever speak out?
Yeah.
I didn't. And I went back. I kept going back. It was like he'd groomed me, and I would keep going back, and he would keep abusing my hair and keep doing awful haircuts. Worst haircuts I've ever had in my life. Even worse than when my mum's friend, Carol Pratchett, used to come round, and my mum would give her a £5 to do all of our hair. And he played the boyfriend of, Richard O'Sullivan's daughter in Me and My Girl.
Oh, right.
There we go. There was a point to that. But Richard O'Sullivan was great. Didn't he, he's still alive?
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, he retired from public life when he got ill, I think.
But what did he get ill with? I know
according to Wikipedia, he had a stroke.
Right.
But he was absolutely everywhere, well into the 90s, and kind of it was a big part, like you said, of the weekend schedules. I mean, me and my girlfriend have got quite an obsession about like 70s sitcoms and stuff, and we've been watching Man About the House.
Yeah.
And Man About the House I think one of the big issues with Man About the House, one of the big issues with sitcoms of that era is they're more like soap operas.
Yeah.
We were watching an episode the other day. It was about a breathalyzer test, and it just wasn't a funny situation.
No.
But it just had the odd pun in it, and it was, so it wasn't great stuff. But he was a really great comic actor.
Which one of the two young ladies in Robin's Nest? No, Man About the House. Were you were you more attracted to? Sally Tomsett or Paula Wilcox?
Probably Sally Tomsett.
Well, then we get on great because I'm a Paula Wilcox kind of guy.
Right.
There was something. She's got a slightly wonky eye, Paula Wilcox, but Sally Tomsett's got the teeth actually as well. So it's give with one, take with the other. But I was a Paula Wilcox kind of guy. But Richard O'Sullivan, I think he lives. There's a very famous like retirement home.
That's right,
for out
yeah.
of work actors who've worked all their lives but have fallen on hard times. And I think he lives there, doesn't he?
I believe so, yes. And the other thing I was just going to say is, or if you want a really terrible comedy, what's it called? That's My Boy. That's a really...
That's My Boy. That's My Boy. That's My Boy. With Molly Sugden and that tall posh man whose name escapes me.
Yeah. But the other thing I was going to say is On the Buses is something that we watch a lot. I don't know why, because we don't find it funny. But and there were 3 films rather than 2.
3.
But there was also a sequel called Don't Drink the Water.
Oh, blimey!
Which was around Blakey going to Spain, and
that is utter genius. I'm just looking on Amazon for Richard O'Sullivan because wouldn't it be great to buy a book about him? But of course there isn't one. Someone go and do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, I'm reminded he was in Dick Turpin, which was brilliant.
Yes.
Dick Turpin and Swift Nick.
That was cracking.
Here's a film I've never heard of. The title is, and it's got Richard O'Sullivan. I don't know. Can You Keep It Up for a Week? It's on the Best of British collection.
That sounds like a Robin Asquith film.
Yeah, well, it looks like Robin Asquith on the cover, but it isn't. Let's read the synopsis of this. No man was asked to do so much by so many in so little time. Prim and proper Annette promises to marry her accident-prone boyfriend Gilbert, Jeremy Bullock from The Empire Strikes Back, on condition... Oh, here we go. That he manages to hold down a job for just 7 days. But not everything goes to plan. When dopey Gilbert signs up with an employment agency, suddenly every nymphomaniac in London wants to get him on the job. One of the best-known British sex comedies of the 1970s, Can You Keep It Up for a Week, stars a gaggle of sexy performers, including Sue Longhurst, come play with me, Olivia Mundy, keep it up downstairs, and Valerie Leon, Carry On Girls, plus an eye-popping cameo from the legendary Richard O'Sullivan as a gay photographer.
Oh.
That sounds brilliant. Oh, you're not convinced by that?
No, well, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
I think it was Richard O'Sullivan was in a couple of Carry-Ons as well, wasn't he? So
was he?
I'm not
a fan of Carry-Ons. I don't think they're very funny.
Oh, they're not, no, but they're really interesting socially. I mean, the one about the Carry On at Your Convenience about the factory is fascinating because that was all about... If you think about who the audience was for the Carry On films, basically there's a whole film which is saying that trade union movement needed to be broken. It is really, really patronising film about trade unions, and it bombed with that audience, and they lost a lot of support through from that film. I think it picked up again, but it's really fascinating social documents, although they're not that funny.
Ed, thank you very much. I appreciate the call. There is one Richard O'Sullivan book. Man About the Kitchen, a book for people who can't cook much, by Richard O'Sullivan. It's a cookbook. He was good, Richard O'Sullivan, wasn't he? Wasn't he good? Someone write a book about him, please, so I can read it. Or if not a book, then a very long article. Or if not a very long article, a radio documentary, please. 0844 499 1000. Yes, Evan!
Hi, Ian.
Hey, Evan, you right?
Hi, yeah. I've got 2 things, but first of all, I totally agree how people feel anxious in the barbers, because I went 2 weeks ago and my barber was on holiday.
Oi, man.
And there was like a substitute barber in, and she didn't realise I said my normal stuff, and she took too much off.
And there's nothing, they can't do anything about it. Well, they can't glue it back, as someone said earlier on, Evan, they can't glue it back. And I bet, when they got the mirror out to show you the haircut, you nodded and went, yeah, that looks great, thanks very much.
Yeah,
you did, didn't you? Of course you did. We've all done it. We all do it. I've yet to meet anybody who's gone, nah, we need to do a bit more work on this. This is not right. Everyone goes, yeah, that's great, thanks very much. And of course, we go home and then we try and restyle it ourselves, don't we? I get my pomade out and start putting it down how I like it, because they put all this weird gunk in the hairdressers that I don't like. So I go home and then put my stuff in it.
I tried to restyle with the scissors slightly myself.
Oh!
And that was very dodgy because they didn't get rid of my cow's leg, and I tried to cut it off.
How did that go?
Not that great.
Yeah, I know. It never, Evan, it never does, and we will never learn. We will never.
Yeah.
Some people, Lindsay Buckingham, who is in my mind because I was watching some American comedy program that he pops up in. Lindsay Buckingham, the guitarist from Fleetwood Mac, one of the guitarists from Fleetwood Mac, he had big bushy afro hair, big bushy 70s afro.
Yeah.
And in a fit of cocaine-fueled mania and wanting to rediscover and reassert himself, he cut his own hair. And he took scissors and he cut his own hair and gave himself the coolest haircut anyone has ever seen. It's like all choppy. It was all over. It was way ahead of its time, man. It was brilliant. I mean, the rest of the Fleetwood Mac, when he turned up the next day, they went, oh my God. But has anybody, apart from Lindsay Buckingham, who is a genius with his fingers, has anybody ever given themselves a decent haircut?
I knew someone who didn't. Someone who wanted to try and avoid paying 10 quid for the barbers.
Yeah.
He just shaved all his hair off.
Yeah.
And he had really nice hair before.
Yeah, the self-shavers, I think that's a weird perversion, really.
Yeah.
I think that's a weird perversion. Anything else, Evan?
And I've got a suggestion for Film Ring again.
Yep.
And it's a documentary.
Yes.
It's called Searching for Sugar Man.
Oh! What's it about, Evan? Tell me what it's about.
It's about a American singer who wasn't that well known in America.
Yeah.
And at that time in the 70s, South Africa was quite cut off.
Yeah.
Then someone got his album in South Africa.
Yeah.
Then it started being really well known and he became like a bit of a celebrity in South Africa.
Yeah.
And he wasn't heard of at all in America. And then there's a unusual twist in the middle, which I won't give away.
You are describing exactly how I describe that film. It's one of my favourite films. And when I worked in another place with Catherine and a young lady called Kelly Betts, and I watched that film, and you can't help but be moved by it. It's a slight cheat, like all documentaries are. It's a slight cheat because what they don't mention in the film is he hadn't completely disappeared. He'd actually done a big tour of Australia about 4 years before he went to South Africa. So it's a slight cheat, but it's still a great film. And I would go into work every day on air and tell the story of Searching for Sugar Man. Because I want, and they go, oh, it sounds rubbish. Oh, God, yeah, and then they watched it and it blew their tiny freaking minds. It's a great film.
It would be great if you got the director in to speak on air.
Yeah. It might be tricky because that's a big one, but it's not impossible. Evan, thank you very much indeed. I'm going to give it some consideration. I don't know if Sugarman is necessarily right for this, but if you've not seen it, it really is one of the best rockumentaries. The other one that's good, and although I did interview them, the people in it, and one of them was a dick, was Anvil. Have you seen Anvil? Oh, Anvil's good, right? Anvil's brilliant. It's weird. Everyone thought it was a spoof because it's like Spinal Tap, and the drummer in it is called Rob Reiner, which is the director's name of Spinal Tap, and it's about this heavy metal group, right? And they were sort of touted to be the next big thing, but they never quite made it. They were sort of the Bon Jovis and the I don't know, the not the Thin Lizzies, the Twisted Sisters and things, kind of overtook them and stuff. But it's a brilliant film. And I got to interview Lips. The lead singer's called Lips, and Rob Reiner. And Rob was an idiot, I'll be honest. Lips was great, and Rob said, "I don't want to talk about a movie." And and they were arguing in front of me. Lips is going, "Man, Rob, we're here because of the movie, man. I don't want to talk. I want to talk about the new album." And I said, "Rob, we'll talk about the new album, but you're kind of here because of the movie. And if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about the movie a little bit, And Lips was brilliant. But I'll bring Anvil in, Kath, because I've got it, and it is an absolute... I'll bring it in tomorrow. 0844 499 1000. Gatford, Rocky, Sam, stay there. Come to you after this. Adam is telling me on Twitter that the director of Sugarman died a couple of years ago. And he was young. He was like, I don't say a kid, but he was late 20s when he made that film. So, something like that. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. We call you back. No straight to air after midnight. We're not doing that for July, and then we'll kind of reassess it in August. Let's go to Rocky. Yes, Rocky.
Hip, hip, hip. How you doing, Ian? All right, pal?
Hip, hip, Rocky. I'm all right, thank you, mate. What you got for us?
You're sounding good tonight, pal. You're sounding good tonight.
Faking it to make it, Rocky. It's all fake tonight. It's all smoke and mirrors. Doesn't matter, though, as long as it works.
Faker. You're a good faker.
Thank you.
Listen, mate, I'll tell you what it is. Talking old programmes, right?
Yeah.
There's a programme that I remember as a kid, and amongst my mates, I'm the only one that remembers it.
Okay.
Now, it's on YouTube, and it is there. Have you heard of a programme called BJ? Yes, BJ and the Bear.
BJ and the Bear, starring Greg Evigan, of course.
Oh, there you go then.
He was one of the dads in My Two Dads.
Ah, right. See, I look up IMDb for this sort of stuff. I should just phone you.
Phone me, mate. I've got it. It's all
walking IMDb.
It's all up here. Yeah. It wasn't it. Now I don't remember. But wasn't he a truck driver?
He was a truck driver, and he had a monkey. He had a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
That used to follow him in the truck, and they used to solve crime, as you do.
Yeah. In the 70s, there was for some reason, I don't know why, and I'm glad there was because I enjoyed most of it. 70s and early 80s. There were so many films and television series from America that were set in trucks and involved CB radios.
Correct.
There was loads of them. Obviously, all the Smokey and the Bandit films. Convoy, which is, I think, is Sam Peckinpah, is the masterpiece of the trucker CB genre. There was also loads of songs, and there was the song. Was it where a guy is talking to a child, a boy? I played this a couple of years ago.
Is this you going back to Peado Rock?
No, well, no, it's not. It's actually, it's really sad. It's a trucker talking on his CB to a boy, and it's called like Little Bear or something. And he's disabled, and then he dies.
Oh no!
I remember I played it at Three Counties, Kath, and I can't remember. It's one of the saddest songs. It's like it's the opposite of Peado Rock. It's someone will remind me of what it's called. People are being very, very busy on Twitter today, which is great.
I was in a good mood there. I was in a good mood when I phoned you.
All right, I can bring you back in a good mood. You're talking about faking it, right?
Yeah.
And I was listening to a documentary last night about when Harry met Sally, of course, the famous I'll have what she's having. That scene, right, where she fakes the orgasm, right? Here's the question. And it was told brilliantly. It was written by a woman whose name escapes me and directed by Rob Reiner. Or was it Carl Reiner? Rob Reiner. It was Rob Reiner. There we go. And Rob Reiner said to this woman who wrote it, whose name escapes me, tell me a secret. Tell me a secret about women. And she went, well, we fake orgasms sometimes. And he didn't believe her. And this is like in the 80s, mid to late 80s, right? And this was before people kind of talked openly about orgasms and stuff. And he's going, no, that's a lie. She goes, no, it's true. Sometimes women fake orgasms. And he got, the way she told the story last night, it was such a good documentary. I thoroughly recommend it on the BBC4 Extra website. He got all the women in from the office and said, is it true you fake orgasms? And they go, well, yeah, sometimes we do. Here's the question for you, Rocky.
Yes.
Have you ever faked an orgasm?
I'm just trying to think who could be listening at this.
No names, no pack drill. We don't want to embarrass anybody, but have you?
Aye, I think we all have.
Yeah.
And the problem with you and I is there's a little more visualization.
Well, yes, exactly. But and again, we're not going to get too graphic because I don't want to. But
not at all.
There can be things. It can get damp. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yes.
And I have done it. I have done it once. I have faked an orgasm once. I was having again, no names are packed. I don't want to embarrass anybody. I was having really boring sex with a girl I didn't like a long time ago.
Surely, right, in terms of the anatomy of the male species, right, if you're faking it, that would suggest that you weren't into it, if metaphorically speaking, which would then suggest that there may not be as much arousal, shall we say?
Yeah. Well, that was. I could kind of feel that situation was gonna. It was just not happening, right? It was happening, but there was no one was really getting any pleasure from it, and I could just feel that downstairs interest was waning, and so I just, one big flourish, and I went, oh. Remember.
You think I was going to mention Rise and Damp?
Rocky on that bombshell. Thank you, Rocky. You see, it's not talked about right now. We all talk about women fake orgasm. Oh yeah, Harry met Sally. I'll have what she's having. But men do it. I think I've only done it once. But men do it. It does happen. 0844 499 1000. Not many women calling in this evening. I don't know why. We normally do pretty well in terms of a gender split, but that's the way it goes sometimes. 0844 499 1000. No straight to air after midnight. We keep taking calls and calling you back. Although the last half hour of the show is going to be me talking to Felix Cavaliere from the Young Rascals. Yes, Darren.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm fine, Darren. You all right?
Yeah, not bad, sir. Not bad. So you were just talking about Anvil, the film.
Yes.
I went to see it at the London Film Festival, and the director was giving a talk afterwards. The director is Sasha Gervasi, who was a big fan of Anvil when he was in his teens.
Oh yeah, he was a fan, wasn't he? It was a labour of love. Yes,
it was indeed. And he the band disappeared from view for a long time, and then he thought, I wonder what happened to them, and decided to go and make a film about them.
Don't give away the ending, because I want Kath to see it.
Sorry?
Don't give away the ending.
Oh no! I'm not going to spoil it.
Because I want Kath to see it. I'll bring it tomorrow. It's a cracking ending. In terms of film endings, it's up there with Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. This is sort of off on a tangent slightly.
Yeah.
Because halfway through they were making the film, and the cinematographer said, "Sasha, I need to talk to you. Can we go somewhere private?" And he thought, "Oh God, what's happened? Is his parents died or something?" So he said, "Yes, fine, let's go in the hotel room and we'll have a chat." He said, "Sasha, I've got to know, are these guys for real?"
Wow.
So even, just
the people working on it. And it is, there was a big, you watch it now, and obviously it is real, but there was a big debate around it, was it a spoof and was it a Mickey take? It is, I've not seen that for such a long time, because I was so put off by Rob Reiner's attitude when I interviewed him. I kind of dismissed it. I think I've got a signed copy of it somewhere. Although I may have even got rid of it because he annoyed me so much. I think I got rid of the signed copy of Anvil.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which one of them was a bit of a bell, but one of them was.
Yes, it was. But it's a good film, and I do worry. No, I don't. I was about to say I worry that I've seen all the good documentaries that, but because documentaries is, proper documentaries, it's kind of, it's sort of a dying art. And by that I mean, there's still loads of good ones coming out, but there used to be really good documentaries on TV all the flipping time. And they kind of got usurped by, reality TV, and you would see things that were labelled as reality TV, and you'd think if this was done slightly differently, this would just be a documentary. If they were just left on their own, this would be a documentary.
Yeah, well, that seems to be all the budget went, wasn't it? It was just on sort of Benefit Street type stuff.
Yeah, all of that trashy nonsense. Darren, thank you. I'm reminded of the the greatest documentary series of all time. Kath, have you seen 7 Up? Are you a fan of 7 Up? I love. I've got the box set. I love it. And I bought the box set just without realising that another one was going to be on really, really shortly. So I caned the whole box set and I love 7 Up. And we've got to be about 2 years away from another one. I love it. I love 7 Up. There's one guy in 7 Up that dropped out in the early 80s. He went to work in TV, and he doesn't appear in it anymore. The premise was brilliant. They filmed all these kids at the age of 7. and then they filmed them every 7 years after. And some dropped out, some, there was the posh guy that you thought was a bit of a knob, but actually, well, he was a really decent bloke, and he did a lot of work for, I think, a Bulgarian charity. And then there was one guy that went and worked in TV, and he was the coolest one, and he stopped appearing in it. Then there was another guy that stopped appearing in it, then came back about 14 years later. It was brilliant. But the series, the documentary series, I wonder if you can get it on, I bet you can't get it on Amazon because Savile pops up in it. And this was, I wonder if it'll be on YouTube, wouldn't it? This was brilliant. The Family. Did you ever see The Family? The Family was great. It was about this working class family. But if I remember it correctly, Sam and Gatford and Katia, stay there, I will come to you in a minute. If I remember it correctly, the series was aired as it was being filmed. So by the end of the series, The Family, it was in Reading, set in Reading. Isn't it funny, the things you remember? By the end of the series, they were celebrities. I'm trying to see if I can find it on... I don't think you can buy it. They'd become celebrities. And so the last episode was them being interviewed about being celebrities. It's a very, very strange programme. Must be on YouTube. Katia, I'm just looking on YouTube.
Yeah.
To see if The Family is on there, because tomorrow I'll be watching the Mind Your Language film. Excuse me, guys. Just indulge me a second. Here we go. Hang on. Here we go. Hang on. Here we go. Hang on. Shh.
The problem was to find a family prepared to tolerate the intrusion by a film crew into their every private moment. To find such a family, we chose Reading, population 132,000 and situated 40 miles west of London. Famous for seeds and biscuits, Reading has all the problems of any town. We carried out many interviews, and finally one family emerged that we hope can meet the demands of this documentary serial, the Wilkins of Reading.
It's all there, guys. 2 hours of that. That's my day tomorrow. I'm watching that in bed, Katia.
What is it?
Why are you still in this country? We voted to get you lot out, and you're still here. What is going on?
Yeah, I apologise about that. I'll tell you something, though.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, listen to this.
Have you been graffitied by racists yet?
Not yet.
No racist has graffitied anywhere on your body?
Also, I'm being very mindful of my accent. I'm trying to sound as English as I can. It's really bad. I'll tell you something. I'm very conscious of my name nowadays.
Yes, Katia.
No, well, for example, I went to the GP,
yes.
General practitioner.
All right. Well, here's the thing: if you want to blend in, Katia, don't call them a general practitioner. Just say I went to the doctors.
Okay, I went
to
the doctors.
Yeah.
I went to the doctors. The good doctor.
No, the good doctor's a pub. I went to the doctors because I was feeling. I went to the doctors because I was feeling a bit dicky.
No, well,
say
not really.
Say it.
I was feeling a bit dicky.
Here we go. I like you. You're one of the good ones. You're one of the good foreigners. And I want to do everything I can to make sure that you stay for as long as possible and scrounge off of our benefit and welfare system. So I'm going to help you, Katia, to blend in and look like a native.
Who's going to marry me? Someone called Phillips or something?
Yeah, Phillips.
Yeah.
Not Roger, because he doesn't exist.
And see, that's the thing. So I was waiting in the waiting room, because that's what you do in a waiting room, obviously. And the lady, she called out my name. She said Katia. She was going to say Filipovich, which is my name. And I really jumped out of my seat, and just before she could finish the Filipovich, I was just there. So she didn't finish, and I wasn't like, oh, that's the foreigner. But I shouldn't be like this, because really I've been here for quite a long time, donkey's years. That's quite English, isn't it?
And I've paid my taxes really well. Because...
But you pay it in euros.
No, in British pounds.
Thank you.
I love the pounds with the Queen on it. She's good, the Queen. I pay allegiance to the Queen, Her Majesty.
We don't pledge allegiance to the Queen. Katia, what you're giving yourself away.
Okay, what do we do with the Queen?
We grovel in front of her.
Grovel?
We grovel in front of the Queen and we beg her forgiveness.
We bow to her.
Say, all right, mate. Say this. Here we go, Katia. This is a typical British sentence.
Yeah.
All right, mate. I'm off for a waz.
A what?
All right, mate. I'm off for a waz. Try it.
All right, mate. I'm off for was.
Perfect. There you go. You see, you've got it. I think we can work with you, and we can just pretend that the accent is due to a head injury or something like that. That's what we'll do.
Off women's head.
No, we're gonna keep her head on.
George, you're a fanny.
Well, I couldn't possibly comment. I'm trying to find a specific one, but I've not. Hang on. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Oh, no, I got rid of it. Anyway, yes, Katia, what is the point of this call, please? Because you're you're using up good, you're getting in the way of good British folk. I've got English people that want to speak to me, Katia.
Right.
I shouldn't joke about it, but...
Maybe someone can help me here, and I think maybe you must be the man, because I reached out to Radio 4 about this person. Listen to him.
Yes.
Who the hell is he? Let's see.
So, who?
I can't. He can't say anything. Hold on a second.
Did I miss her? I glimpsed away for a second.
Listen. Shh. Who is he?
On the electorate since the vote, we may read...
Oh, no, that's not him.
What are you talking about?
Okay, let me rewind this.
Does anyone know what's going on with this lunatic? I actually voted Remain, but I'm glad the other guys won. Because I would want to be a part of this.
There's this man on Radio 4. He does the links.
Oh, the man who talks like that.
Yes.
Yes, I know exactly who you mean. He's the continuity announcer.
Right.
That's not a bad impression.
Talks like that.
Yeah, I don't think his voice is appropriate.
What do you mean?
Well, you know his voice.
Yeah.
I don't think it's appropriate.
For what?
For announcing on Radio 4.
Where should he be then?
He's got like an American, there's a hint of American, isn't there?
Well, that's all fine and dandy, really.
No, it's not, no. Okay. It's radio. Hello and welcome to Radio 4. I can't do it with a hint of American, that's the thing. It's a good voice, it's like a nice slice of cake.
So who is he?
I tell you who's got a voice like ginger cake. Right. Yeah. Nice slice of ginger cake.
Yeah.
I like ginger cake for a long time. I don't really get it.
Rob Benet.
What? Rob Benet. No. Richard Bryars. His voice sounds like cake. Here we go. This is the phone in for the last hour. Famous people whose voices sound like food. Richard Bryars, ginger cake. 08444991000 is the telephone number. Huh?
Is anyone ringing?
Well, no. We've got Sam and Gatford all queued up. They'll be ready to rock and roll after the news, and we'll get loads of callers. And then we're going to do a little bit of magical back counting, which my team are going to do, and we're going to play out with Felix Cavaliere from the Young Rascals.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had actually I found for something about the documentaries.
Yes.
Yes. What about We Are Twisted?
I watched that the other day. It's good, that, isn't it? About Twisted Sister.
Yes. Well, listen to this. They are doing their final tour.
Good. They're not a very good band.
Well, not too bad.
They're not brilliant. They're no Kiss.
No. Well, that's not a band, is it? Kiss.
Kiss isn't a band. It's a brand.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, but their final tour in the UK, maybe No, it's not a good idea.
No, I don't want to get them on. I don't
No.
really like them. It's a great documentary. But my sister's reminded me of a really good documentary. Have you seen it called Dig?
No.
Dig is brilliant, right? It's about two bands that are both tipped for greatness. Neither of them are great. One is the Brian Jonestown Massacre, and the other is a band that kind of had a brief moment in the spotlight, but actually weren't that good, the Dandy Warhols. And it's about both of those bands. Dandy Warhols had two good songs, but they weren't really that good. And the Brian Jonestown Massacre. Have you seen it, Catherine? Dig. You're going to love Dig. Have you seen it? The Brian Jonestown Massacre are the ones that are tipped to be really big, but then suddenly the Dandy Warhols, boom! Suddenly they're making like videos for MTV and stuff. And the guy from the Brian Jonestown Massacre, whose name escapes me, is really bitter and is really jealous, and it gets really flippin' tense. It is a cracking film. Dig. Oh, it's a good film, Katia.
I'm digging it.
Well, thanks for calling in and suggesting Dig, Katia. I'm going to cut you off now.
Okay.
There we go. So Dig and Avril. I don't think I've got Dig. I will have by tomorrow. Magic fingers. It's good, Dig. It is absolutely, it's tense. It's tense and awkward and weird. Sam Gatford, you've been waiting for ages. It's suddenly got a bit busy. We'll come to you after the, what do they call it? News. You can call in as well. Excellent time to call in now. 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
Gatford, Sam, Russ, stay there. Coming up in the next hour, I'll speak to them and you if you want. 0844 499 1000. We'll also speak to Felix Cavaliere from the Young Rascals, who kind of were not that. I think they had like 2 hits over here, but were massive in the United States, and with good reason. They are excellent. Yeah, that's all I've got to say.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Differently interesting nocturnal emissions from a legend of late night radio. Iain Lee, on air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Right, let's go to Sam. Yes, Sam.
Hello, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, Sam. What you got for us?
A while ago, you were on a what's it called? Anyway, it was Rules of the Playground.
The what?
Rules of the Playground or Laws of the Playground. Do you remember that? It's like a kind of clip show.
Oh yeah, that was years. I filmed that years ago. That was like one of those Talking Heads things, and we had to talk about how crazy school was, guys. And I did it because it was skin, and I think they offered me 250 quid.
Yeah, I found that on YouTube the other day, and I was just like watching it. I thought, oh, is he in there?
I used to be on the telly. I used to have a career and everything. I used to have a TV career and everything. And now I'm hanging by a thread.
I just wanted to ask, probably a silly question, but how do they do it? Do they, ask you or tell you loads of different things, or just tell you what to say?
They, for that one, I don't really remember. What they do, generally, is they let you know what things they are going to be talking about, what questions they are going to ask you, so you can think about it. But I tend not to look at the questions. I tend just to go in and do it and have them throw stuff at me and I bounce it back. They have done on occasion, several times, they will say, look, we, on loads of those Talking Head clip shows, they'll say, what we really need is we really need someone to say that Knight Rider changed the way they live their lives, just to help the story. Could you do that for us? And I think once when I was at my lowest ebb, and I was probably drunk, I said what they told me to say, and afterwards I felt dirty and ashamed, and I've never ever done it ever again. And if they ask me to say something to help the narrative, I'll say, nah, I'm not doing it. It's not my memory.
Yeah.
Not my memory, Governor. And then I stopped doing them for ages because I was worried I was turning into Stuart McConey, who is famous for talking about stuff that he's too young to remember. And then about a year ago, I decided to start doing them again because, as I say, I haven't got a TV career, so I don't care about what I'm seen on, and you can get 500 quid for an hour's work. Boom. Yeah, thanks very much.
What one was it? Was it on YouTube or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Loads of my stuff's on YouTube.
I just type in Iain Lee and, talking head and hope for the best.
Yeah, that, type it in.
Just whack it in there.
Yeah.
That's all, mate. Thank
All right,
you. Hip,
nice,
hip, hip.
nice one, Sam. Hip, hip, hip. Tutty bye, tutty bye. Yes, Russ. Russ?
Hello.
Hello, Russ. Pick your phone up, you lazy git.
Sorry?
That's better. Thank you very much indeed. What you got for us?
I wasn't expecting you. No, that's what you caught me with my trousers down.
What,
You're right, mate.
Literally?
Well.
Why is everyone taking a dump when they're listening to this show? What does that tell you?
No, I was just rolling the fag and I've got it on loudspeaker, so I weren't expecting you. So much, Ian. So much. It's been a good show tonight. Well,
it's been
I've enjoyed the content.
It's been alright. I've not been on top form, but it doesn't matter. You can't win them every single day.
You sound quite rampant tonight.
Yeah, I'm faking it. It's show business today. It's shows like this that I get paid for. When inside, Russ, I am curled up in the fetal position, crying, wishing that I were dead. No exaggeration. These are the shows that I get paid for. When I make it sound like it's a piece of cake, when actually it's like walking barefoot over broken glass.
Yeah, I heard you say that earlier. That all this sort of self-doubt and all this stuff. I think it's just a case of my perception on this. This is it's just being a deep thinker. Ian. I'm like it myself, to be honest, and it's a double-edged sword. It can be.
Hang on a minute. When are you a deep thinker?
Ian, you don't want to cause yourself to have to use that dump button, do you?
I can reach it within a moment's. I can reach it. I can do it. It's like that. I can do it in a moment's notice.
Yeah. Well, I'll refrain at this moment because I don't want to have to cause your problems with your buffering.
you stay away from my buffers. Stay away from my buffers. Well, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm broken. My head is broken and my soul is broken, and that's what it is, and it's fine. And it's I'm getting on with it tonight, and it's fine.
It can be a double-edged sword, mate. It can have. It's been a deep thinker, or analysing yourself, or whether it's your job, you as a person, whatever. It can be a good thing, but at times it can be a bad thing. And I still get it now. To be fair, occasionally, not so much. I was going to talk last night actually about addiction. I don't know whether it's okay to go on to that subject.
Yeah, of course you go. Hey, Russ, you know the rules. It's okay to go on to any subject. It's all it's a conversation, and what comes out comes out. It's all groovy, man.
Well, it links into. Excuse me, Ian. Sorry.
You sparking up?
Yeah, well, I'm getting into deep conversation, so I need a bit of nicotine on the go. Well, on the sort of, it links onto the deep thinking and over-analysing yourself and all that, in a way, anyway, for me, it does.
Yeah.
The addiction. And the reason why I'm prepared, I'm not just opening up with you, I'm opening up with all the listeners, but I've got a lot of respect for you for doing so. That's why I warmed to you from the beginning. Yeah. You wear your heart on your sleeve, and you just discuss how you're feeling. You discuss your issues, whatever. And I like that. I do like that. I don't think it's a weakness. I believe it to be a strength. But I had an addiction. Now you touched on this last night when you were talking about Gaza, and when you mentioned about some people smoke a joint and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And for years, it's always been said that it's not addictive and all this. Well, I speak from experience, and in my experience, in my life, it was addictive. It was very addictive. And it took me years to realise that I could be rid of it. And what's the word I'm thinking? Be not sober. It's a word like that. Anyway. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and basically, I was like George Best with that stuff. It was all or nothing.
Yeah,
and I came to the realisation 5 years ago that it had to be nothing. I couldn't do it sort of occasionally or just to wind down the odd one, on an evening like some people. It was full on. But for years, I was told, and so-called experts say it's not addictive and all this. Now, I'm not in any way trying to say that I was in the same boat as Gaza or someone who has alcoholism, because It's a real, like you said last night, it's a disease.
Yeah.
And it's a real addiction. But if you're that way inclined, you've got an addictive personality, even food or,
anything that changes, anything that releases endorphins or changes the way you feel about yourself for the positive can be addictive, and that can be food, and that can be chocolate. I mean, chocolate's got chemicals in that releases endorphins. It can be a joint, it can be cocaine, it can be shopping, it can be buying stuff on eBay, it can be sports. Some people are addicted to doing sports because of the buzz that it gives them, and some are more dangerous than others, and some people are really, really lucky, and they can have a joint, and they can have half a joint, and they can put it down, and then a week later go, got half a joint. And by the way, and I have to say this, we're not in any way encouraging or condoning the use of drugs. It's illegal, and I wouldn't in any way encourage anyone to do anything like that. But some people can do that. Some people can do the same with cocaine. They can have a little bit of cocaine and put it away, and a month later go, I'll finish that off. Some people can have a couple of beers. But there are a significant number of people, a lot of friends of mine, who cannot do that. They cannot just have a joint. They cannot just have a line of cocaine. They cannot just have a beer, because one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. And they have to keep going until there are serious consequences. And sometimes that consequence is death.
Well, yeah, exactly. With certain substances, it is. I was lucky with alcohol because I can take it or leave it. I like a brandy, and if I'm in the mood, I'll drink, I could probably drink half a bottle in an evening if I'm in the mood. But I can go for months without drinking.
Yep.
So it's a bit of a strange one that thankfully I haven't got that predisposition to alcoholism. But that was just my point on that. I just wanted to say about the addiction thing, and I really hope someone put a really nice post on Facebook about Gaza. I think he's
I think what the papers are doing.
nurse.
Yeah, Matt Haig's written a brilliant article about it, which I've only scanned. Yeah, I need to read it properly. But what the Sun is doing to Gaza is shameful. I don't care if they own us. It's shameful, and it's shocking, and it's outrageous, and they are bullying someone who's mentally ill. Russ, I'm going to let you go just because I've got a couple more callers to get through, and then we're going to play Felix. Let's go to Gatford. You've been there for ages. I'm sorry, mate. It's been really, really busy. Gatford.
That's all right, fella. I don't mind.
Yes.
I believe that Tim Westwood has a voice like a lemon drizzle cake.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Definitely. Yeah.
You let me have that. What's that bit of the body called? In between the back of the leg.
The perineum.
No, and the top of the ankle.
The what?
Is it the calf muscle at the back? How is it?
The what? The back of the leg? That's your Achilles.
Is it? No, further up.
Your calf?
Yeah. It's really hurting at nights these days. Like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and sometimes it'll be really painful.
Yeah. Have you got Have you got new shoes?
No.
Have you been?
I think so.
Have you been standing on tippy toe or something?
Apart from the ballet, no.
Is tiptoe quieter than normal walking? Because whenever we watch films, people will tiptoe, but I don't think I've ever actually tiptoed in my life, apart from to make children laugh.
But isn't the point that you're not putting your full foot on the floor, so it's not a bang, bang, bang?
Are the burglars? If anyone has ever been a burglar, do you tiptoe? When you're doing a job, do you tiptoe? Because I don't know if that's actually any quieter.
Why would they wear stripes as well? Surely that's far more showy.
Yeah, well, that's just that's a disguise as a Frenchman.
Onions. That's about it, really.
All right, well, fine. Do we have a time that we need to hit? We've got not on my screen. Oh no, maybe I didn't change the screen. There we go. I didn't change the screen. Hang on a second. Let's. No, you're still there. Go away, Gutford.
Okay.
I'll cut you off now. There we go. Okay. All right. Well, do you want to hit break now? Then we'll hit that because we've got 2 breaks. Should we do that? Hit this break. Right, we're going to have Felix Cavaliere from the Young Rascals in a bit. It's a cracking chat. Let's go to Pablo. Yes, Pablo.
Hip, 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 hip.
Hip, 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 hip.
Hip.
Hip, 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 hip.
Hip, 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 hip.
Hip, 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 hip. What you got for us, boss?
I'm quickly getting out of my depth.
Yes, me too.
Oh, just on I believe it was a Gaffer's previous point, if burglars did tiptoe, we'd have a lot more ballerinas involved.
Yeah, is tiptoeing quieter than normal walking?
I've tiptoed upstairs. I think that may be either on stairs or floorboards. That may be the only time it's relevant.
I genuinely don't think I've ever tiptoed apart from when I'm with the kids.
Well, the whole thing with being quiet upstairs, I find it's not necessarily where you put how you place your weight; it's where you put your weight. So I find that it's the corners of stairs.
Yeah.
It's the side bits.
Yeah, I know. I bought the boys CD radios, CD players with radios and cassette players on, right? I thought it was important they had cassette players. Annoyingly, I didn't check them. And the cassette players you can't record on. There's no record button, so you can't tape stuff. You can't tape the radio or tape yourself singing. And I feel bad about that. And so what I've just bought, I've just ordered it. And they're really expensive. But you know, the cassette recorders you get in the 70s, where it's just like a black rectangle, and you press a button, and the top pops open, and you put the tape in and push it down, then you press record and play. You know them?
Yeah, well, I know, because there was a kind of a Fisher-Price version, which was like a tan and brown one.
No, I bought a proper one. I bought a proper one. I bought a proper one of them, but they cost like 40 quid now. It's ridiculous. I thought they'd be like 5 pence, because it's old technology. So I've bought one of them. And when we get it, we're just gonna sit and make tapes all day. Me and the boys are gonna record each other talking and make I'm gonna teach them how to make mixtapes. I'm gonna teach them how to impress young women in about 12 years' time by making them mixtapes. What's this? It's a mixtape. What is it? I've bought you a tape player as well. Boom! Those chicks are good. The chicks in the future chicks are gonna fall for my boys as I teach them old technology.
They'll all just be like monkeys and kiss.
Yeah.
They'll all just back away in a kind of fearful.
Correct. In fact, they have. I've given them some cassettes and CDs. It's all the monkeys and the bare naked ladies. That's all they've got. Teaching them.
Well, no, I mean, I do remember as a child that was like halcyon days, kind of recording, making your own radio shows and things like that. That was all fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going to happen. What you got for us, Pablo? Because I want to squeeze in. In fact, let's bring him into the conversation while you're there. Nigel.
Yeah, I'm here, Ian.
Oh, you sound a bit miserable. What's wrong with you?
Oh, just dropping off a bit because I was waiting a long time.
No, you were only waiting 14 minutes.
Well,
let's listen to what Pablo has to say, shall we, Nigel? Can you do that?
Yes, I'll listen. Yes. Yeah.
Well, Nigel, you might be able to add on to this. I don't know. It's kind of like absent-minded OCD type moments. I had a situation recently where my daughter woke up in the middle of the night and we thought she was choking. She was making a really weird noise, like she had an obstruction in her throat, and there was panic everywhere. And I was very. It turned out it was just kind of like she just had a really bad build-up of phlegm. It had gone the wrong way, and she kind of was sick, coughed at the same time. And by the end of it, it all settled down. She went back to sleep. All was good, and I was quite pleased with how I'd handled myself in the situation. I was very calm. I was dealing with the situation.
Yeah.
And then I looked in the mirror and I found I'd basically pulled half the hair off my eyebrow. I'm missing half an eyebrow, and I'd basically absent-mindedly been doing that whilst I was dealing with the situation. So on a conscious level, I was dealing with it. I was being the man of the house. I was
You're plucking your eyebrows. Can you get a biro and draw them on?
Well, I was thinking, I might nick the mascara or the eyebrow.
Is that what she choked on?
Did she choke on your eyebrow, Pablo?
No. It was, I think it was phlegm. And this was post-choking.
Yeah, okay.
This was not pre-choking.
Is she all right?
Oh, she was fine, yeah.
Is your eyebrow all right?
It's all right, although I have had, not giving too much detail away, but I had one infected regrowth come in, which was...
God!
Yeah, but
right,
that's all sorted as well now, so I'm waiting for it to...
Pablo, you're a freak of nature. We've only got 2 minutes, and I'm really hoping that Nigel wants to give us some. Do you want to give us some, Nigel?
Well, I've got something to talk about anyway. Have you
got a song to give us?
Well, I wasn't going to. I wanted to talk about something quite serious quickly. You might be able to help me over it.
Okay.
Have you heard of a band? Well, somebody called Jim Noir band. It was 5 years ago. I was in a documentary for Channel 4. It was filmed down at Canberra Sands on the beach.
The Jim Noir Band?
Yeah, Jim Noir Band. I was featured in it
Jim
quite
Noir?
a lot at the beginning and halfway through.
Jim Noir?
A documentary on Jim Noir. If anybody's listening who knows the whereabouts, if they can put me in touch with them.
Who are the Jim Noir Band?
Well, it's just the first group that I was in a documentary with on Channel 4.
But who are they? The Jim Noir?
Yeah, they're based in Brighton, he said.
Right.
So if anyone listening knows the whereabouts of the band now, please get in contact with Talk Radio UK.
No. Hang on a minute. We're not operating as a PO box system for you. Yeah, we can't. The two mics. I know it's pre-recorded, but they're not going to sit and take field phone calls, Nigel. We can't do that.
No, but they might be able to contact me on Facebook.
No.
Nigel, we've got line 1. It's Jim Noir. He's here for you now.
Nigel, they can find you on Facebook, can't they?
Yes, I hope so. I can't find him. I put the name in at the box.
He's probably hiding.
Yep.
I want to take a random stab at him, maybe a pseudonym.
It's because I wanted to
Jim Noir
record.
will be his real name.
Ian?
Yes.
I wanted a recording so I could see myself again because I've lost the tape in the flooding. When we had the flood,
yes.
I lost all my tapes on the floor.
I wish I could fade these calls out.
Okay.
And so hopefully someone's listening and they'll find you on Facebook by typing in Nigel.
Okay, I'll start singing a quick jingle to finish.
You've got 30 seconds. Away you go.
It's Miley Cyrus, she makes me happy all the time. It's Miley Cyrus, I listen to her records all the time. I like watching a Bangers concert, it makes me happy too. It's Miley Cyrus, what a fantastic girl she is. I like to listen to her rap.
Oh, unfortunately, I like to watch her Bangers concert. I know that was the name of the tour that she did, but, I mean, that guy's like in his 60s, isn't he? Felix Cavaliere from the Young Rascals coming up next. Hey, Felix, this is Iain Lee from the UK. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, man. It's great to hear your voice. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. Take me back to kind of 1964, 1965, New Jersey. What was a young Felix doing and listening to?
Well, I grew up about 20 minutes north of New York City in Westchester County, New York. And I had the good fortune of having Alan Freed bring his rock and roll, which was brand new at the time, to New York City. So I was present and listening at the very, very beginning of what we know as, our modern pop music now, our modern rock and roll. So I really consider that to be very fortunate to hear everything from the beginning of it was on WINS 1010 Wind. And that really, really influenced me, to say the least.
Do you remember the first song or the first record that where you kind of, where you felt it in your gut that this was what you wanted to do?
Well, I came up as a classical pianist. That's what my parents wanted me to do. And I had no idea of this until a classmate of mine asked me if I liked rock and roll. Honestly, I'd never even heard of it. The first people that I heard were keyboardists.
Yeah.
Fats Domino, Jerry Lee Lewis, and then, of course, the ultimate was Ray Charles.
Mm.
When I heard that, first of all, I grew up in kind of like a suburban community. I had never heard anything even approach that type of, let's say soul, for want of a better word, the actual gospel type of feeling. And it was a keyboard, which I played. So it really kind of like infatuated me with, wow, I got to see if I can do that, man.
And what did your parents think? You go from Mozart to Domino, Fats Domino. What did they say?
Well, it was kind of like a thing that happened there. Like my mom was the real catalyst behind my classical. And she unfortunately passed. So, my dad was hard at work all the time. He was a dentist, and I hardly even saw him. So I never got any feedback until many years later when they realized that I had jumped into the wild side.
What? Do you remember what your first band was?
Yes. I joined an existing, how should I call it? Well, it was kind of like a band that played for weddings and bar mitzvahs.
Yeah.
And as a side, they did, little kind of shows in gymnasiums and things like that. But, in those days, it was mostly like formal events or informal events such as what they call hops,
Yeah.
And it was called the Swinging Six.
Fantastic. That's a proper name for a band.
And I was one of the six, and what happened basically is, due to the advent of this rock and roll, we put a little section in the show that I featured, like singing like Jerry Lee Lewis and singing like Ray Charles. And lo and behold, the band became known for that.
And were you singing from early on? Because you have got one of the most delicious kind of soul and rock voices. Straight away, well, no, it's true. And I know you've been honoured because of your voice. Could you do that straight away, or was it a surprise when you opened your mouth one night and suddenly this popped out?
Well, I can't say it was a surprise because it took a long time to get where it got.
Yeah.
But how it did that was by emulating these phenomenal singers that we had in those days.
And the thing is, I've just been watching some clips of you on YouTube, like recently, right? And it's got to be said that you and Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, your voices seem to have got better over age. How the hell is that possible? What have you been doing with it? Oh, Felix, man, we've lost you. We've lost you.
Am I here?
You're there. Don't move.
Hello,
got you.
All right, I'm going to park the car somewhere.
You're very kind.
Okay.
One day they'll invent a cell phone. One day they'll invent a cell phone, Felix, that can actually do phone calls.
Well, I shouldn't be moving. I should have been on a stable place.
You're very kind.
Thank you. Let me see if I can park without bothering anyone here.
Don't bother it. Don't get a ticket.
Is this okay?
That's perfect. Yeah,
no,
go on.
No, I'm fine. I'm in a suburban. I don't know. Basically, I think seriously that it's usage. If you use it and it gets like like constant type of gigs or songs or stuff like that, it stays strong. That's how I feel.
So you're playing in the Swinging Six. How did the Young Rascals come about?
Well, many years later, I went through quite a few years before that happened. I started a band up in college. I went to Syracuse University, and I was studying pre-med. I actually was in school when Lou Reed was there, and
wow.
It was a great scene up there of pop music. In those days it was the Twist, and I took a job for the summer in the Catskill Mountains, which at that time was a very big kind of vacation spot for New Yorkers.
Yeah.
And I said, I really like this. This is a lot of fun. I had a little band. We were kind of like the swing band, and we did everything. We did as the guests came into the home. And the next thing I know, there was an intervention from the band that had come up there, Joey D and the Starlighters. They had come up to the hotel as a featured act, and they were in Europe. They were in Frankfurt, actually, and their organist quit on them. And they remembered me, and they literally resurrected me because I had no work. And the next thing I know, I was in Europe working with this band called the Beatles. We were.
I've heard of those guys.
And nobody in the States had yet.
Yeah.
It was prior to the Ed Sullivan, reawakening of the world there. And, I remember it like vividly walking into a place where everybody was absolutely hysterical, and I couldn't figure out exactly what they were hysterical about until I saw these four lads with long hair.
Beautiful.
Which I had never seen before.
Yeah.
It was amazing. That kind of did it for me when I said, this looks like a lot of fun. I gotta try this. Okay, so from that point, I went back to the States with Joey D, and, you know, we had this terrible thing in those days called the draft. You know,
of course,
you were going to be, once you left college, you had to be, and I realized that I really could not start any major endeavor until that was behind me. So various things happened. You know, I worked around with different people for a while. That's where I met the drummer, you know, and who was become the Rascals drummer. But then I got drafted, and fortunately for me, the standards were a little bit higher than I provided.
Well done.
So they said to me, you know, like, good, if we get attacked, we'll call you. Other than that, you know, like, stay home.
If we're really, really, really desperate, we'll give you a gun. But otherwise, yeah, don't get involved.
Which made me feel great because I didn't care what it was, man. I was just thrilled. You know, I mean, it's a really interesting time of life for all of us that went through that period. Anyway, so then I was able to really get serious about starting a band.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And that's when the Young Rascals, actually it was called the Rascals in the beginning, that's when they were formed.
And you mentioned Dino, who's an amazing drummer. I think he's a really underrated drummer. Gene and Eddie, how did you come across those guys?
Well, the same thing. I mean, it was through the Joey D, how should I put it, family. Ed Brigotti's brother was one of the people who was a principal member of that Joey D band. So I met his younger brother through David. And Gene was a musician who came from Rochester, New York, to New York City to try and make it, so to speak. And instead, he disbanded his group and joined a group that Joey D was forming in a nightclub. And that's how I met him.
And from the first time the four of you played together, like in a rehearsal studio or gig or whatever it was, to getting out which I'm holding here, the first album, the Young Rascals, including Good Lovin', and boy oh boy, those are some fancy collars you've got on those shirts. How long? it's very much of its time, that cover. How long between you first meeting and that record coming out?
Well, I'll tell you, my plan. After hearing the Beatles, you know, I really felt they were more of a singing group than a band.
Yeah.
I did not feel their musical acumen at that time, you know, and probably because they were young kids like we were. So my plan was to get the best singers I could find and the best players that I could find, and it worked. I would say from onset of our first rehearsal to the actual record deal was approximately 6 to 8 months.
Wow! See, that sounds incredible.
I know. Well, you know, the difference, seriously, in those days, first of all, there wasn't like so many people trying to be in the music business.
Yeah.
As there are now. Now everyone is trying, you know, and it's kind of ludicrous because there's not enough seats in the church for all these people. But in those days, if you were good, and this is the shame, if you had talent, you really had a shot. You really had, you know, because there were not that many people vying for this thing. And also, the record companies, and they were on the scout, you know, especially after the English, you know, showed that, wow, these are just a bunch of kids that are good, that play, they sing. They were looking out for something. They were reaching out. And we happened to be in a very, very propitious place, a very good place to be found. And that was in the Hamptons in Long Island.
The first album is great. As a debut album, right, you can tell it's a load of kids really enjoying themselves, and you're playing a lot of soul songs on there, like famous soul songs, In the Midnight Hour, Mustang Sally, stuff like that, right? And obviously you're all four white kids, but you don't sound like Pat Boone. Do you know what I mean? You sound like you sound like a black rock and roll soul band.
Yeah. Well, as I say, you know, the influence that I got from the beginning of the rock and roll was mostly in that genre.
Yeah.
You know, of course there were hits like Pat Boone and stuff, but I heard the Little Richard version before I heard the Pat Boone version. You know, and because, as I say, growing up in New York or near New York with the radio station that came that far was a big boon for me. I mean, I was able to hear these phenomenal like the Chuck Berrys, and I mean, this is magic. Magic, it still is to me. When I hear these people like like Curtis Mayfield, and I mean, the talent is just ridiculous. How good these people were, and the ones that attracted me the most, I will say, are in the R&B world.
How come, Felix, and there are a few bands from the States from around that period, like Paul Revere and the Raiders, and Tommy James, that never made it in the UK? You had a couple of hits in the UK, Groovin' and another one. Yet in the States, you had like 20 top 10 hits or something like that. Why do you think you didn't make it in the UK?
Well, I think there's really a very simple answer for that, and that is that the record label that all of us were with at that time were not international labels yet. So in every country, we had a separate entity. We had, I think, Barclays. We were in Atlantic. There was no Atlantic. So we had to deal with a whole different set of executives to get our work heard and seen and pressed. It was very difficult. Later years, the only label that I remember that was international at that time was called Columbia. Columbia was a powerhouse. And as the years went by, during the late 60s, they bonded with Warner Brothers to become an international label. And then, of course, Zeppelin, they really tied the knot, Zepp, when they came through, but we weren't attached to it. Atlantic was a small label at that time. And I think that Tommy James was with an even worse thing. He was with Roulette.
Oh, Tommy was Roulette and working with a crook, of course. So I mean, he was having a tough time. Disappointing that you only had a couple of hits in the UK.
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Because first of all, I love to travel.
Yeah.
And I know that they love music, and I know that they love R&B. But you got to take what you can take, man. I mean, I seriously, like in a perfect world, oh yeah, it would have been great. And it's unfortunate because when we had our opportunity, which was from the kind of the transition from Atlantic to, at that time, Columbia, that's when our group split up right at that moment.
Why did it split up? Was it the age-old musical differences, or were you sick of the sight of each other? What happened there?
Well, I think. There's an old American adage called "You can't teach stupid." It was exactly. You can't fix stupid.
Yeah.
Very stupid. My ex-partner there. I tell you honestly, after all these years, I really even can't answer what happened to him. He just hit he hit a point in his life, kind of like this fella from One Direction.
Yeah.
Where he just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And. He just and I wouldn't mind if he had gone on to a solo endeavor or to a production endeavor or to something, but instead he just literally went home, which was mind-boggling.
Just had enough. Isn't it funny? When did you start the songwriting? Because the first album, it's primarily covers. How did the songwriting come about?
Well, in the early days of our playing out, we were not allowed to do our own songs. We were always told to do cover records.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of these things came about, because I became an avid listener of a lot of the R&B stations, and I found songs that were actually that we could cover that nobody ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Mustang Sally. Now, we did Mustang Sally before Wilson Pickett did Mustang Sally.
Did you really?
We heard it on the radio.
Wow.
Yes.
I did not know that. That's incredible.
And what I'm finding out, I know. And Good Lovin' also, that was done by another group. It was done by the Olympics. And it was not a hit. But for some reason, when we transformed it to our type of music, it's been a hit ever since. People get up and dance, and they love it, So that's how a lot of those songs took shape. And, we picked up from the radio and brought them to live. Okay, well, a magic happened, a miracle happened when our second record went out, which was Good Lovin'.
Yeah.
And became number one smash gold record. Well, the onus changed at that point. It's kind of like the kids all of a sudden became the stars. so now we could pretty much do a little bit of what we wanted, you know? And so I, you know, had always been writing. I always kind of like wanted to do it. I convinced my ex-partner there, Eddie, why don't we do what John and Paul are doing?
Yeah.
Why don't we write? Why not?
How hard could it be?
Well, it's hard. You know, in those days, the beauty of youth, you don't see any obstacles. You know,
But
I love that.
you've
There's
written
nothing
classics,
like that.
Felix. You and your partner, you've written actual classics. You know, songs that have stood the test of time. Groovin', A Girl Like You, How Can I Be Sure? You know, just to name three. You must be aware now how timeless those songs are.
I am aware now.
Yeah.
We're just very lucky, and, you know, as I say, the environment that Atlantic provided for us to work in, I just can't thank them enough, you know, because, see, we actually produced ourselves. That was my demand when we had these record companies approaching. I said to, you know, our manager at the time, they like what they hear. Why don't they give me a shot at making this a record?
Yeah.
And this is where, like, the unbelievable, I don't know what type of belief you have, good luck or karma or God gift, they put in the room two of the most talented human beings to ever, you know, be in the music industry. They put Arif Mardin, who was our George Martin, and Tom Dowd, who was, I don't know if you followed any of his career, but I mean, an amazing genius of electronics. Well, that's the good fortune we had. So when we went into what was basically our laboratory there of the studio, everyone there was committed to making great music. Everyone there. And it was just such a joyous experience in my life. I can't even emphasize how I still feel. And I think that's what happens, you know, when you put that type of energy into a product, it lasts. It stays.
When did you make them? Was there a conscious decision to move towards the I'm going to use the C word. I'm sorry. Towards concept albums, because Once Upon a Dream in 1968, the albums start to become a cohesive piece as opposed to 12 different songs stuck together.
Right. Well, you know, I can't emphasize enough the contribution that the Beatles had on all of us.
Yeah.
Because they were the beacon. Not only did they make great music, but they broke down barriers. For example, I wrote How Can I Be Sure because they did Yesterday and Michelle.
Fantastic.
And because they did Yesterday and Michelle, the radio stations had to play it.
Yeah.
You know, they have to play the Beatles. They opened the door for us. Well, when Sgt. Pepper came out, I really felt that was a big door. And it's a door today that I think, if it hadn't been for the greed and avarice of record companies, we would have had a lot of rock operas, such as, the Hoot, Tommy, and, that I thought was the next kind of like, how should I put it, like the operettas in the 17th and 18th century, I thought that was where we should go. However, there was not enough single potential on those things. There was actually a story, but that's how that happened.
I got to say, Freedom Suite is it's a flawed masterpiece. The flaw for me is that 15-minute drum solo. I can't. It's a little bit too much to take, but the rest of it is just a stunning record. Were you disappointed by the success of the comparative lack of success of those albums?
The way the business became over the years, you really find that the actual success has almost no bearing on the quality of the album, or the quality of the product.
Isn't that true?
It has to do with it's the longevity of the situation. Like I'm contemplating an album now. I'm trying to do an album, kind of like an unplugged, of our music, of my music there. And I know that's not going to sell a lot of albums because basically a lot of albums don't sell.
No.
However, I really expect it to be here forever.
Yeah.
That's my goal. When you come up classically, when you come up with Mozart and Beethoven, you realize these guys, their music is still here 100 years later.
Mm.
And I kind of think that's what I like to be. You know, instead of like the flash in the pan and then you're gone, I want to be around here for a couple 100 years.
Well, it is amazing. I mean, it's like there's 50th anniversaries going off everywhere at the moment. The Monkees, the Good Lovin', I think it's the 50th anniversary. The Beach Boys did a 50th tour a couple of years ago. You guys have got back together several times. The Once Upon a Dream show. Tell me about that. It sounds fascinating.
Well, it is fascinating because this fellow Steve Van Zandt, you know, from Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, of course,
band, we've had a very interesting kind of like karmic history with this gentleman. You know, we first kind of really got together when we got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He did the induction speech. Now, if you ever get a chance to Google that or YouTube that, it was hysterical. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
He dressed up in the costumes that we had, and his speech was so good that he was approached by the director of The Sopranos to be in that film.
Oh, is that how we got the Sopranos gig?
Fantastic. Yes. And he was so good that, you know, it was really, and so he had taken us on like sort of like a how should I put it, a crusade.
Yeah.
These guys didn't get their just dessert. I want this to happen. Now, many people prior to him had really attempted to put us together unsuccessfully, and the reasons being, how should I put it? I mean, I got to be very, very, very careful how I say this.
Of course.
You know, there's no real rationale for somebody who doesn't think, you know, like the rest of us think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like most people, you know, if somebody offers you work and money and, you know, the most enjoyable profession I could ever imagine, you take it.
Yeah.
But these guys here, they had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Van Zandt decided, I'm going to surmount and surpass all of those problems, whether it's a financial or, in some cases, a how should I put it, a rehabilitation process.
Well done, yes.
Or in some cases, a psychology process.
Yeah.
He took it upon himself to do this. And no one is ever going to do that. I mean, it was Herculean on his part. And he put his money where his mouth was. He backed the thing, and that's how it happened.
And it sounds like an interesting show, because it wasn't just you getting back together and playing the hits. There was filmed inserts, there were interviews, there were actors recreating scenes, as well as you playing together as a band.
Yeah, and basically we did a very successful run on Broadway with it, which was you know, quite a feather in our cap there. We did 2 weeks there, and we did very, very well. And people were flying in from UK and from Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. And I was very proud of it because you know, after a few, well, let's say weeks, the band really started to sound like the band again. You know, we had some help. Especially with vocals, with some female singers. You know, and we had. You know, we had a bass player, which, you know, we never had a bass player. I used to play it on the organ pedals. But after a certain amount of time, you know, there's a certain magic that four people have together that you can't define. It just happens. And it happened again. And I was very, very, very pleased about that.
Felix, what are you up to now? I know you're doing lots of gigs and things, and you mentioned that there might be a new album coming out. What are you kind of busy with at the moment?
Right. Well, you know, I moved to Nashville because I really wanted to continue the creative process of writing, you know, and so I do that on a weekly basis here with a lot of the young people around here that, you know, as I told you, you just can't turn them off, man. They think they're going to conquer the world. I love that attitude.
Good, yeah.
And I'm also I'm very anxious to try to bring my music to a symphonic level.
Oh,
I'm getting a number of charts done. I really want to try that. A lot of the people are doing that. And, you know, in the last 5 years or so, we got a beautiful symphonic hall here. And I would really like to try that.
Finally, Felix, how's Billy Joel these days?
Well, he's a dear friend, and he's a happy married man now with a new baby.
Wow.
So I think he's doing quite well after filling Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I believe it's 34 months in a row or some ridiculous number like that. What can I say? That's unbelievable. And I mean filling.
It's incredible, isn't it? It is amazing that I mean, and Billy Joel's been around forever, but you and I mentioned the Monkees and the Beach Boys, and all of these acts are still selling out and still packing, at the very least, big theatres, and in Joel's case, of course, huge arenas. It's amazing that it's lasted so long.
Exactly. Well, I say this on stage, and I really believe it to be true. In our time, we did not have the internet. We did not have the Facebook. We did not have the iPhone, etc. We had music. Yeah. Music was our generation's bond. We spoke to the people in Europe. We spoke to the people in California through our music. We grew up together and listening to the same, the radio stations at that time weren't as demographically kind of like separated as they are today. So we heard black music, white music, folk music, electronic music on the same stations. And I really feel that that's what our generation wants to get, that herd mentality. When I go see Paul McCartney, that's exactly what I feel like in the audience. Hey, I'm part of the tribe again, man. I'm part of, and if it sounds like I'm a big Beatle fan, it's because I love those guys so much as far as what they've done for all of us, and it's just amazing that kind of communal feeling you get in a crowd like that.
Felix, listen, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you pulling over, and thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and all the very best to you and your compadres over there.
You're a legend, man.
Hard time now.
Thank you, Felix. Tell me about it. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Talk Radio.
Join the Talk Nation.
Dial up and talk radio.
We'll get you talking.